Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Africa Digital Week's International E-commerce and Omnichannel Transformation Conference. My name is Nyambura Gidaiga, and I am a customer success professional with 5 years experience in tech startups. I have worked in startups dealing with real estate, classifieds, loyalty and rewards, and on-demand services. Today, I will be sharing those experiences with you and my learning outcomes. Kenya has experienced rapid expansion in e-commerce and tech startups since 2015 and is one of the countries to watch in the world and in Africa. In 2020 alone, Kenya raised $45 million in startup funding. This was the highest in East Africa. Customer success, however, is still a fairly new field in Kenya. It started to gain traction around 2017. However, it is still confused with customer experience and has not really taken shape. What I want to stress today is that customer success and customer experience, while they do have some similarities in terms of some of the duties performed and the attributes needed to carry out the job, are different and integral to a company's founding team and bottom line. I remember in one of my previous roles when I worked in a tech startup company and I was success, customer experience, and sales. All roles merged into one. And I can tell you it was challenging due to the different hats that I had to play and make sure all parts worked together seamlessly. Made sure the customers were happy, there were low churn rates, high net promoter scores, and growth in sales. This is what most customer success roles look like in most tech startup companies in Kenya until they realize the need to separate the departments. Because while they may be similar, they still differ on what they are supposed to do. But it doesn't have to be like that. We should have defined customer success and customer experience roles as part of the founding team. In the beginning, the core functions are set up. Leadership from the CEO, the CTO, Chief Technology Officer, who leads the engineering team, finance, sales and marketing, and engineering. The focus is just a skeleton team to get the company up and running, just to have what is deemed as necessary for the product launch. And here we are at the product launch, the most exciting stage of the startup. This is where there's a lot of excitement and buzz at this time because the team is very excited, nervous, and stressed all at once because you don't know what the market response will be like to the product. It almost feels like an exam that you've been preparing really hard for and expecting really good results, but you just have that little jittery feeling at the pit of your stomach. There are different methods that are used to promote the company. There are press releases, website launch. The app is published either in the Google Android Play Store or the Apple App Store. Above and below the line promotion, say billboards, TV, newspaper, magazine, heavy social media presence with influencers, referral codes, so on and so forth. Then this is when things start to get really busy. The customers are growing in number on the website and the mobile app has increased in traffic or downloads. Tech issues also start to appear and gaps in the product as well. Maybe certain features were not deemed as necessary or important, and now the engineering team needs to add new features. Sometimes bugs are spotted in the product and they have to be fixed as soon as possible to ensure a good user experience and no complaints. I remember one time in one of my previous roles when I was just about to head out for a pitch meeting and the app crashed. It would not open. You can imagine how embarrassing that would be if I am going out to represent my company and pitch to a potential client and yet my product is not functioning. Here there are also many phone calls and a lot of back and forth between the customer. The customer experience is not good at this point, and the response time is too long. Some take to social media to complain, and we all know how damaging that can be for a brand, especially when you are starting out. There is also no clear strategy for customer experience, and also no team exists, because at this stage, customer experience is being done by anyone and everyone in the team. Another thing I experienced in one of my previous roles when we were starting out, the user interface and the user experience were fairly complex and took way too much effort for customers to place an order through the website, and they preferred calling, which overwhelmed our already understaffed team, and there was no dedicated email for customer experience. All emails would go to info, which is mostly accessed by the CEO or the admin, and we had no CRM tool to document all the interactions with our customers. This is when the need for customer experience is realized. After the chaotic experience becomes too overwhelming, the need for a separate customer experience department is realized, and a manager comes on board, possibly with 2 or 3 additional members who look at the problems and come up with a strategy and a system for handling customers. This also involves implementing a CRM tool and procedures on how to handle different scenarios, the response time, and the escalation of complex issues. A dedicated email and phone line is also set up that gives a better experience, and the rest of the team is not overwhelmed. But churn rates are still high at this stage, and net promoter scores are low, and customer experience only receives inquiries, handles complaints, and undertakes happiness surveys. The experience has improved, but the churn is still high. Here in this graph, this is just a quarterly performance review, a hypothetical review of how performance is for a tech startup in Kenya. For this example, we shall refer to the product as product XYZ. So as you can see from January, there's a trend of sharp growth from the product launch, a lot of new users using the app. But from February down to March, you can see a sharp decline, and this indicates that there's a lot of churn over here. But from March, when the customer experience team is implemented, there is small steady growth. However, the churn rates is still high. Something is still missing. The churn rates are still high. Customers don't feel like they get what they're being paid for. And the net promoter score is still very low. Most customers are not likely to recommend the product to anyone. This is where the need for a customer success manager is realized. And the customer success team comes on board. The customer success team comes to assist the customers on their journey from after sales, onboarding, training, and the product's lifecycle. They also outline the expectations of the customer and work towards fulfilling them. Here, churn rates start to decline because they have a more personalized experience, and there is someone to guide them and make sure they get the most out of the product. At this stage, there is some little growth and some long-term contracts. However, churn is still high and the net promoter scores are still low. So how do we fix this? Customer success should be present during pitch meetings to potential customers. The job of the sales team is just to go out to pitch, to win, and to close. So most of the times there is a disconnect between customer success and sales, and also the customer. It's almost as becomes a scenario of what I bought versus what I got, because what sales has sold the customer is not what they're getting from customer success. Once they go, they can better understand the customer properly, know exactly what their needs are and what they want, and also for sales not to oversell, and have a better understanding of the product and make sure that their goals are aligned. Every customer is different and every customer has different needs at different times. Blanket approaches do not work. They should take the time to do customer journey mapping for each and every customer to understand where they are at with their business and how our business can plug in and help them achieve their goals. So what do we learn from all this? Customer success and customer care should be part of the core team when operations begin. In the beginning, you can see how hectic operations are and how many customers are lost in the beginning. This can be avoided if they are part of the central team and a strategy is already in place. This also helps not to overwhelm the core team, and they can function, they can fulfill their other tasks, and which increases productivity. FAQs and chatbots should be included on your website or on your mobile application for self-help for the customers. This also helps not to overwhelm the customer experience team, and they can spend their time solving tickets or doing other tasks. Sales and customer success should work together. Before meeting the client and after meeting the clients, they should have status update meetings. At least if they're not able to go for the pitch meetings together, they should have meetings where they exchange notes and ideas so that they can be on the same page and they are ready to onboard the customer, and the customer will not feel like they are not getting what they paid for. Customer success applies to all departments. It's not only customer experience and customer success, and not only sales, not only the people who interact with the customers, but engineering. Engineers also have to make sure that they take care of all the bugs that are in the website. The feature requests, the ones that customers have really been asking for, should not be ignored and should be given more priority, because without customers, then you don't have a business. Customer success is all about what I can give you, not what can I take from you. It is relational and not transactional. Brands that care are brands that are remembered. Customer-centric companies have lower churn and increased sales. When you make the focus about your customer, they will most likely remember you. I remember in one of my previous roles where we conducted a road safety campaign and gave public motorcycle taxi riders safety jackets, and they were branded with the company logo. And I remember bumping into one of them, I think about 2 or 3 years ago, and he was still very excited and remembered us because that had saved him the additional cost of getting a new reflector jacket. And this was just our own initiative to promote road safety and in turn also help the motorcycle riders. Brands that care are brands that are remembered. When customer success is part of your core strategy, it can be a very, very unique selling point that will work to your advantage, because this shows that you're putting the customer first and you are most interested in building the relationship and trying to help the customer, as opposed to most companies which are more company centric and thinking about their profits and about the customer. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. This comes to the end of my presentation. I am happy to connect and exchange ideas. You can reach me through my email address shared, or we can also connect on LinkedIn. My name's Anyambura Githaiga, and you can see my LinkedIn URL here. Thank you very much for listening.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to my session, Smart Retail, New Horizons for New Perspective for the International eCommerce and Omnichannel Transformation Conference, part of the African Digital Week. My name is Cavani Noel Kone. I'm a graduate student of the African Leadership University in International Business and Trade, and I'm actually currently the CEO of Imije, a company in FinTech. I have a 6 year of experiences in marketing. So this is the agenda for today. We'll have introduction to retail, business shifts, opportunities, and then conclusion. So introduction to retail. What is retail? Retail by definition is a sale of goods or services from a business to a consumer for their own use. A retail transaction handles small quantities of goods, whereas wholesale deals with the purchasing of goods on a larger scale. The main principle of retail is customer engagement. The retail system of any company should be on this principle to be able to focus on the objectives, goals, and responsibilities undertaken by the company on the lead. You can see right here this small map where you can see the customer in the center of the personal representation, the price, the product, the personal promotion, all components of the retail mix. Next. So far, we can explain two main ways of dealing with retail in the 21st century. We have traditional retail in one side and the smart retail in the other side. Now that the whole world is shifting into the digital, the traditional retail started getting obsolete. And having innovative ideas should be able to deal with a better way to process the retail channel. So, traditional retail. So by definition, this is the traditional retail. We have the manufacturer, the wholesalers, the retailer, and the customer. So let's break it down. The manufacturers are the one producing the goods at a national quantity level on the market. So they are the one actually supplying the goods to put them on the market. After the manufacturer finish producing the goods, the wholesalers get access to the product produced by the manufacturer and start supplying them to retailers. And then the retailers purchase the goods supplied by the wholesalers and sell them to local communities. And then the customer of the local communities, having access to the goods and or services provided by the retailers, are all happy. Now, what about smart retail? What makes it different? So for a smart retail, we can see the online store, the payment system, the delivery process, and then we have the customer. So the online store can be owned by a manufacturer or even a business. We have an online presence allowing you to have access to the goods or services and purchase them. And then the payment can be made online using a credit card or a mobile money or even a hand-to-hand. Customer can proceed to payments before or after receiving the ordered good or service. And then after that, packaging and delivery, another process that is really essential to bring the good or service to the buyer using data provided. And then the reception, the last step, the buyer or customer finally gets access to the good or service purchased. In conclusion, since the arrival of the internet, innovations have reshaped almost every facet of the supply chain, from sourcing and payment to collecting customer feedback. This resulted in new levels of efficiency. An example, cost, automation, customization, user interface optimization, etc. That effectively reduced the distance between retailers and manufacturers. In 2017, the term new retail was coined by Alibaba founder executive chairman Jack Ma as integrating logistics and data online, offline, and into a single value chain. So, what about a business shift? Traditional retail versus smart retail. Let's try to compare the two of them. So we have one side at the left, the traditional retail, and the right, the smart retail. So in traditional retail, the retailer is the one dictating the customer how to shop. But in the smart retail, the customer is the one navigating through the shopping process. In the traditional retail, we have a smaller range of products. But in the smart retail, in comparison, it's a way larger range of products. In the traditional retail, products are only available physically, while in the smart retail, products can be available online and offline. We can also observe a product push from the traditional retail, while in the smart retail, we have a demand pool. And compared to the traditional retail, in comparison, the smart retail is more data driven than the traditional retail. So, three reasons why smart retail. First one is technology. A new commercial infrastructure has taken shape. Big data, cloud computing, mobile internet, front end, smart logistic, internet finance, and so forth. The development of the internet gradually frees economic and social values and promotes the process of globalization. The number two is customer. Customers have a higher degree of digitalization than before, global understanding, and omnichannel shopping habits. World consumption, modernization drives global consumption growth and new value proposition. In number three, we have the industry. The actual development of retailing around the world is slowing down due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and there is an urgent need to find new growth momentum. The emergence of multiple forms of retail, where you can observe now the smart retail. In conclusion of the business shift, we can understand that when customers shops, they usually look for three things: the best product, the best prices, and a pleasant shopping experience. Smart retail can help by providing all of these things. Also, the smart retail creates an atmosphere of efficiency and convenience for customers. It's also useful for retailers as they better understand the buying habits of their customers. And also, the retailers can make informed business observations and decisions. From the implementation of effective inventory management by finding products that are selling the least of the most, thanks to the data provided, a study how store layout affects purchasing, and better manage logistics and supply chain and use customer reviews to actually improve the services of the product. And all of those will benefit in terms of customer loyalty and revenue as they better understand buyers based on the analysis of data collected through the Internet of Things. Now, opportunities. What are the opportunities that you can observe from the smart retail? First of all, let's mention the presence of key technologies. Thanks to the integration of the internet in many industries, the new retail, smart retail, can have access to so many technologies focusing on the customer experience. We have proprietary applications, we have QR codes, we have beacon technologies, we have intelligent warehousing, and so many. So all of those can actually help you improve your retail process to turn it from a traditional retail to a smart retail, and also help you collect more data and insight to help you improve every product or the service that you are putting at the disposition of the customers. And then another point is the fact that you can get customers everywhere. One of the biggest opportunities the new retail has to offer is giving you access to various customers everywhere, thanks to the use of the smart technologies. You can have your e-commerce platform, you can have live broadcast on social media, you can have intelligent terminals, you can use VR, you can use recreational events, you can even use social media to have people globally. And there is also now the new perspectives. Knowing how the COVID-19 pandemic affected the way traditional retail used to operate, as well as the way people rate, buy, and interact with brands, the smart retail technology can help carriers in post-COVID retail environment through the following: activate contactless shopping experiences, streamline the safe distance purchasing process, support a consistent omnichannel experience, maximize in-store engagement, optimize operation and resources, and also perfect planogram strategy. Now, in conclusion, the COVID-19 pandemic has been the most unpredictable business and concept transformation so far in the 21st century, and you are not finished getting surprised. The use of a smart retail strategy should be of help and involvement related to how fast the world is turning to the digital. Business owners and managers should therefore integrate this new retailing process to be able to better adapt, progress for their own survival, and also for more perspectives to come. That was Cavani Ginwell Kone, Smart Retail, New Reason for New Perspective for the African Digital Week. If you have any questions, you can email me at cavani01@gmail.com. That's all for today. Thanks. Thank you so much.
Hi from Egypt, I'm Sameh Abdel Fattah, founder and CTO of Zevendo.com. Today I'm going to be talking about doing e-commerce the Egyptian way. So today our objective would be to know more about the Egyptian e-commerce landscape, how to do the omni-channel experience the Egyptian way, and how to improve your business in the e-commerce field. Let's have a quick look on the e-commerce landscape in Egypt. So we have around 59 million internet users, which increased by 8% since 2020. We have around 49 million social media users. We have an internet penetration percentage of 57%. Since COVID, now 50% of the internet users use online shopping versus 11% before COVID-19. 50% of internet users use mobile apps. We estimate 30K shipments by marketplaces. So many government initiatives are happening to support financial inclusion, which is definitely helping a lot with e-commerce. E-commerce has grown for the past 6 years in Egypt mainly, and in the Middle East and Africa by a staggering 30%, which is, needless to say, an enormous growth percentage. 12K sellers on different marketplaces in Egypt, around 2.5 or 3K online stores in Egypt compared to 1.6 million stores on Shopify, which shows the potential growth opportunity for people working in the e-commerce in Egypt. Post-COVID-19, over 64% of people do research online before buying anything. This shows how important e-commerce is becoming for sellers and merchants in Egypt. Since September 2019 until May 2020, there has been a 30% increase in retail-related queries. Again, this is another sign of how important e-commerce is becoming in Egypt and in the region in general. So what challenges do merchants face to build their online business in the region? One of the things is the lack of know-how and expertise in e-commerce technology providers, the culture and language and e-commerce know-how itself, and finally the high cost of building an online store. On the other hand, for merchants to expand their business, they need to build more physical stores. If they need to build more physical stores, that's quite costly. So how do we develop an effective omni-channel experience for our customers? What's an omni-channel? An omni-channel is having the same experience anywhere and at any time. The omni-channel experience consists of mainly 3 parts. The first part is the sales channels, the second part is the marketing messages, and the third is the team and the process. The sales channels are simply how we sell. So it can be our physical store, it can be a WhatsApp group, it can be our website, it can be our mobile app, social media, channel messengers, the different ways that I, as a brand, sell my products. That's from one side. The other side is the marketing messages. So I use SEO or I use SEM. Do I do social media ads? Do I do ads on different websites that are not mine? Do I do ads on my own website? And so on. And finally, the process and team. So everything is linked Everything we do in e-commerce is linked by our team. We want to make sure that we have a process shared with everyone, and we have the tools to allow the team to work using our process and make it easier for them to provide the same experience for our consumers around the different channels and the different marketing messages. So it doesn't make sense to see a certain product with a certain price that has a specific discount on the website and then received a text message saying that this product has a different discount on the website. Or I'm like surfing or checking my news feed on any of the social media channels, and then I get a different number for the same discount. This will discourage customers from working or from buying from my brand and can really affect negatively the trust they have with my business. So here are some points that I believe are very important for merchants who want to improve their performance online. One of the things is that you combine two different channels on the same device that would double your chances to sell. Another thing is that merchants who have offline and online presence usually have a 30% higher lifetime value from the same customer. Another point that I believe is very important is that 50% of your shoppers will buy from you from their mobile device. This means that you have to make sure your website is user-friendly, is mobile-friendly, it works perfectly without any problem for someone using their phone to buy from you. Bigger picture, easier to zoom in, stuff that would make it easier for them to buy from you from their mobile device. Also, another point that we have noticed has a very good impact on the shopper's experience is allowing them to select the delivery time. This has a very good impact in pushing them to continue and to complete their checkout process. So why sell online? Why not have a store or do some stuff that is completely offline and still be successful? You can, however, if you go online, there's definitely a big advantage. You're gonna be making money while you're sleeping. You're gonna be, you can address the global market. You don't have to be addressing or targeting a specific area. You can start your business in much less time than what you would need to start a brick and mortar store, for example. Customers search online first. Whether they are planning to buy online or not, the easiest way now for everyone is to search online before they go to the place where they would buy the stuff. Whatever it is, whatever kind of merchandising they are looking for, it's much easier for them to know more about it through their online search and then make the decision to buy it offline or online. So it's definitely less cost. So preparing a brick and mortar store can cost you around 1 million EGP at the moment in Egypt. I'm talking about a very rough estimate. When it comes to an online store, no matter how costly or no matter how high-end you want your production to be, it will not be more than 25% of this number. You'll definitely have less operational costs. You'll definitely have less startup costs and setup fees. It's not to be compared with preparing one store that at the end of the day will only cover one area. There are so many methods and tactics you can use to increase the traffic of your online store compared to what you can do to increase the number of in-store visitors or walk-ins to a physical store. This is definitely a reason that would encourage any merchant to expand their business online versus doing so offline. So as we said before, 50% of online shoppers tend to use their mobile devices to make purchases online. In our region, this reaches 70 and 80%, and we've even seen it up to 90% in food and beverages brands. Another very important aspect of e-commerce is mobile e-commerce. As we said before, 50% of online shoppers prefer to use their mobile devices to make a purchase. In our region, this reaches 70 and 80% in some brands and up to 90% in food and beverage brands. So Why is it important? For the following reasons. In my opinion, the most important one is being engaged with your customers 24/7. Most of the time, your customers have their mobile in their hands. So they don't have to be in a specific place. They don't have to be sitting in front of a laptop. All they need is their mobile phone, and they will be able to place an order with your business with nothing else. Another important point is their ability to use different payment methods. So whether wallets or different electronic payment methods provided by their mobile technology providers, or credit card payments, wallets, operator-enabled payment methods, this allows them to easily select a payment method that they have handy and not to wait until they have access to their laptop or whatever. A very effective way to increase your sales is using push notifications on mobile devices. So whether it's a flash sale, a special promotion, or the launch of a new product, push notifications are the way to go. Social sharing is very important. It's the new equivalent of word of mouth. It has a very good impact on the brand awareness, and it's very easy for your customers to share a product or a certain collection of products to their friends and family, making it a higher probability for them to buy from you. Retailers investing more in mobile e-commerce can ultimately expect a higher conversion rate and a better ROI. As we said before, online retailers see more than 50% of traffic coming from mobile devices, whether from the website or their mobile apps. Apps tend to have a higher conversion rate than desktop and mobile web, and that's because a customer who went through the effort to download and install your app is probably a shopper with a good intent to buy. Customer's experience is quite controlled by the app environment. If he has it open, then he's completely focused on it, and you should do as much as you can to convince them to take an action and complete a purchase, whether using the push notifications or in-app alerts. Mobile apps tend to have a better conversion rate. It really depends on the country and the type of customers and the brand that you're managing. However, in general, we expect higher conversion rate from a mobile app. The user who went through the effort to install the mobile app and open it probably has a good intent to shop and buy at the moment that they have this app open. Another thing is that you can use tactics like push notifications and in-app alerts to push the customer to take an action and complete a purchase. So what mobile e-commerce trends do we anticipate in 2021? We anticipate people to have more trust in mobile e-commerce. We anticipate less security issues. We anticipate advanced chatbots. We anticipate single-click payments, and we anticipate a lot of voice recognition, making it easier for people to search and to take actions on their mobile devices. How to increase your chances to close a deal? So you need to have very clear policies. You need to have a clear exchange policy. You need to have a clear return policy. Your users, your online shoppers should be aware of how to return whatever they bought and understand that this is not going to be a hard or impossible thing to do if they want to return and refund whatever they bought from you. Understand your user behavior. Analyze your user behavior, reanalyze your user behavior, and get as much as possible information and data to allow you to do the changes you need for your advertising efforts. It's much better for you to change your target audience instead of wasting money on advertisement that is not converting. Offer different payment methods. So in our region, credit card payments does not exceed 20%. In most cases, it's less than 15%, and the highest we've seen is 30% in marketplaces. We have a very wide range of payment options in Egypt and the region, and we would really encourage you to have as much as possible payment methods available on your mobile app or website to encourage people to buy from you. This includes payment methods like Fawri and Aman and B and Masari, and other stuff like wallets and the Egyptian Misa card network cards, Operator wallets like Vodafone, Orange, and Etisalat, and even we now provides this type of payments. The more you add payment methods, the more you have a higher possibility for people to convert on your business. Another very important type of payment methods in the region is installments, whether through banks or through microfinancing institutes like Value and similar. So what do you need to prepare to launch your online business? You need to have a very good market research. You need to understand the market needs. You need to know who are your target audience. You need to see what other sellers do. You don't have to start from scratch. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Part of what they do is your starting point. You need to know very well, as much as possible, what products are needed, what products are in abundance, and what products are quite rare, and this is where you should be focusing, at least in your first phase. You have to know your unique selling proposition. You need to know what's good about your products, what makes them better than competition products, and what makes people want to buy your products. This is very important and will help you a lot working on your marketing messages. The next step is to start preparing your content, whether it's pictures, product descriptions, your About Us page. You have to have very clear contact info. People have to gain trust in your business, and a big portion of it is knowing that they are able to reach you, whether by phone or knowing where you actually exist and what your address is. As we said before, you have to have very clear policies. People should trust and be reassured that they will be able to return the products that they buy from you. And even if they will not be able to do that, you need to explain why and to tell them how to do it in case you provide this service, and how they will get their money if they refund their orders, and what do they need to do to be able to return their products. You have to select the right technology. I'm very biased. I come from the vendor, as I said before, so I'm very biased to that technology. However, you have to decide what kind of technology you need and decide whether you go with a SaaS model like Zevendo.com, or you will go with building your own technology or other options if you have very specific requirements that are not covered by building your own technology or by using a SaaS model like ours. It's all about pictures, so you need to work on really good product pictures. People buy a picture online. You cannot touch the product, you cannot smell the product, you cannot taste the product. So it's all about the pictures that you provide and the descriptions you add to each product. This is what people pay money for, and you have to give it enough time and to do the best quality you can get within your abilities. Now comes the time for your marketing plan. It's very important to gather everything that we talked about and put it in the marketing plan. The marketing plan is the main way for you to drive traffic to your website or mobile app. It has to include everything that you will be doing, whether offline and online, on social media, on different it has to include everything that you will be doing online, offline, on different advertisement platforms and different social media platforms. It's time to choose your domain name, to choose your payment methods, and to do whatever agreements that you need to do, whether with a bank or with an online payment gateway company, for you to be able to accept different types of payments on your mobile app or website. Finally, you have to decide whether you will be using a courier, a shipping company. And we have here in Egypt a very large number of companies that provide these services, whether it's bullet delivery, same-day delivery, or normal delivery, which is usually between 2 or 3 days. And you have to decide whether you will do that through them or through your own couriers and runners. A good thing to do is to have a mix, to have both your own runners and to have several companies, just in case any company of them does not operate in a specific time or have issues. You can use your own runners or a different company. So how do you drive traffic to your website? So you need to use social media posts. You have to stay customer-oriented and focused. You have to use Google Analytics and Facebook Pixel and whatever information that you can get about the performance of the ads you're using for your online business. The landing page is what sells. So you have to pay extra attention to the content of the landing page. Make sure it's quite attractive to people, it's descriptive, and it has all the information they need to take the decision of making a purchase. Use A/B testing. It's very hard for you to know from the beginning which kind of ads or which kind of visuals would work. So always try to test and analyze and then reanalyze and change your content based on the results of your A/B tests. Make sure the artwork and videos you use are relevant to your clients and target audience. Again, people buy pictures and videos can help a lot sell more of your products. Stay away from provocative content. Don't use religious or political views on your social media or website or mobile app. You might be losing customers without knowing just because you used some content that pushed them away. Use newsletters and blogs. Newsletters and email shots are still a very effective way here in the region, and they have very good conversion rates. Encourage upselling. So if someone buys a camera from you, for example, add more accessories to them in the checkout page for them to choose from, some products that you believe would be a good fit for what they just bought from you. Build a community. Use groups on different social media platforms. Make sure that you have some interaction with your clients and encourage them to send you feedback and reviews and be in contact with them on different communication platforms such as WhatsApp or social media or even on the chat from your website. As we said before, being mobile friendly is super important and it should have a very high impact on your conversion rates as well. A short and easy checkout is super important. Make sure it's 1 or 2 steps maximum and try your best to minimize the number of information or the number of fields you need your consumer to fill before they complete the checkout. Another good thing that we have seen has a good impact on conversion rate is to have guest checkout. Not all people in the region would like you to have their saved data when they check out. So some people do not prefer to log in. So for those people, provide guest checkouts. Again, having your contact information available and easy to access to them is very important. Have it in the footer, have it in your About Us page, have it as a specific link where they can get more information on how to reach you. Your phone numbers, your address, the area where you operate from. This is very important for you to increase the trust in your brand. The more payment methods you have on your online store, the more that you increase the possibility for them, for your customers to continue a purchase. Make sure that you don't have any hidden costs. Make sure that whatever price they see will not change in the checkout. Make sure that they will not have to pay a different fee than whatever you have advertised on different platforms or in your advertisements or on the website. One thing that we know is very convenient for customers is to choose where they will get their goods. So allow them to pick from a schedule, from a calendar of available time slots for the delivery to happen. Wish lists and comparisons are quite a successful way to push people to take action and buy from you. Allow your customers to save their cart and come back later, whether to continue shopping or to place the order. This usually increases the possibility of them not abandoning this cart and making an actual purchase. One last thing that I would recommend is loyalty programs. Loyalty programs are a great way to push customers to come back for you and to do actions on your website or mobile app. Whether it's points that are used as a payment method or discount vouchers, definitely loyalty programs will increase your conversion rates. Here are some ideas that we encourage you to have on your e-commerce. Is to have an About Us page, use blogs, use videos, use interactive content, and make sure that you have very clear policies listed for them to read before they buy from you. User experience and user interface are very important for you. You have to have a very easy customer journey, help them make the purchase without going through lots of hassle, and make sure that you get their feedback and improve your user experience and interface based on the feedback you get. Be very active on social media. People know about you from social media, know about your products and services from social media, engage with you on social media, talk to each other about your products and services on social media. So make sure you have engaging and interactive content that help them talk more about you and do more awareness to other users about your products and services. Listen to your customers and use whatever they tell you or the feedback that you get from them to improve what you're offering and to change whatever needed to make sure that they buy from you. Even if you had a pre-planned marketing activity, but you got feedback that's not working well, don't continue, stop, reanalyze, and do it again. Understand the importance of search. In our region, over 43% of customers start their journey by searching on Google. Make sure that your content is search friendly and SEO friendly. Ensure that you have enough metadata and enough information for when users search on you on Google, they get good results and they get you as much as possible in the first pages. Reviews. Reviews are very important. 90% of customers in our region depend on reviews to decide whether or not to deal with your business. So whatever you need to do, make sure that whatever bad reviews are removed. Encourage your customers to remove the bad reviews, fix their problems and listen to them, and try your best not to have bad reviews because they will definitely have a negative impact on your business. Make sure that your product description and whatever content you use is search friendly. Include the product name, include the brand, include the category and subcategory of the product, and help customers find you easier. Include social links and video links and how to use the product links to encourage customers and to know more about your product and buy it. In summary, COVID-19 has pushed so many people to start buying online. Lots of sellers has been forced to sell online. Don't miss on this opportunity. Brick and mortar is getting less important. Selling online is getting more and more important and crucial for your business. You have to be there and you have to do it really well. Arabic is very important for your online business. Content is king. You have to have a localized version of your website and mobile apps. An omnichannel experience is a must for your brand to succeed online. Mobiles are very important for your online business. Mobile apps have a higher conversion rate. Influencers are becoming a trend in our region. Cash on delivery still rules in the payments in the region. Installments and alternative payment methods are becoming a very important part of any online business. Thank you for watching the video. I'm Sameh Abdel Fattah, founder and CTO of Zevendo.com.
Hi everyone, this is Anastasiou, and I would like to welcome you to this presentation on how social media can increase your sales. So if you're really looking to find ways to increase your sales, then just pay close attention to this presentation. First of all, let me say a few things about me. Even though my friends are calling me Richard Gere, my name is Anastasiou. I'm the founder of Adonis Business Academy, and I have studied at California State University. Now, the most important thing that I have to mention here is that I have been training people, helping companies to promote their services or products through social media. And that's how I get the opportunity to realize how social media actually works and what can generate sales and what cannot generate sales. So everything that I'm teaching or everything that we're applying to our business or to our clients is based on actual research, is based on what we have tried so far and it worked. So it's not based on just theories and stuff that we hear or we see on YouTube. It's based on actual actions that we took and generated results. But most of all, I like happy and smiling people. So if you just put a smile on your face, I'm sure you're going to enjoy more this presentation. So let's start with tip number 1, which is in social media, you have to think and act different. Now, Steve Jobs, I remember Steve Jobs' presentation on how to brand Apple, and he said that people don't care about product features, they care about ideas, they care about values. That's how he came up with the idea of think different. Okay, and actually, this is a picture from that branded video of Apple that was, it was an attribute to the people who are thinking different, like Mahatma Gandhi, Albert Einstein, and many others. Okay, so I'm borrowing that think different from Steve Jobs, but I'm also adding think and act different. There is such a noise out there in social media. There are thousands, millions of posts and tweets and videos. So how do you get people's attention? By thinking and acting differently. That's why Lady Gaga show up in a meeting, in an award ceremony, wearing a meat on her face. So if you think and act different on social media, you're gonna grab people's attention. Because if you don't grab people's attention, if they don't know about your product and services, then you're not gonna make any sales. So you have to start thinking and act differently. Okay. So don't just compete, competition best serves the needs of the society, not the needs of your business. So in order to stand out, you should always think, how can I be different? How can my brand be different by all other brands? What can we do in order to get people attention? So don't just do the same, post that your competitors are doing. Do things in a different way. Do something unique. Do something different. That's how you're going to break the noise. Okay. So instead of just going and looking what your competitors are doing, just go and do something different, something out of the ordinary. Do something that people will get the opportunity to talk about. Now, one of the various types of posts out there are the entertaining posts, posts that make people laugh. So if you get a really good entertaining post, that's how you're going to get a chance your post to become viral. Usually, fun and entertaining posts can become viral. It's a little bit difficult, but if it's really good and it's related to your line of business, then you might get the chance to be viral. But not just only the fun and entertaining. It can be an engaging post where you ask questions, or it could be an educational post where you showcase, you explain to your potential customers, you give them valuable information. Those types of posts can get viral, and when it becomes viral, then you're going to get all that free exposure, and more people are going to know about your product, about your services, or even about your business. So start from today, and I want you to go down and drill and find ways to distinguish yourself from all the other competitors out there. So I want you to write down a few ideas that comes into your mind about thinking and acting differently. I'm sure you had some ideas in your mind about thinking and acting different, but you didn't apply them because you were skeptical that maybe this is something that your potential customers are not going to like. But just write it down and execute it, do it. Here I want to share a little story with you. Maybe a few of them might know that story. It was about the Eiffel Tower in Paris. They were thinking to build the Eiffel Tower back in the 1800s, a few of the artists and a few of the architects says, oh, we don't want that building, that Eiffel Tower, to be built in Paris. It will be an abomination. It will turn away tourists. Nobody wants the Eiffel Tower. Why you're building it? And they get all that bad criticism. But guess what? Eiffel Tower is standing tall, and it's there, and it's one of the most iconic monuments of the world, and it attracts so many tourists in Paris because they want to see the Eiffel Tower. So you have to be different. You have to act and think different on social media. So to get people's attention, and that's how they're going to know about your product and services, and then they can buy. Because if they don't know about your product or services, they're not going to buy. If they know about your product and services, at least you have a chance. Okay. So when you're going to start thinking and acting different on social media, of course, some haters are going to come and they're going to tell you, this is bullshit. What are you doing? You crossed the line or whatever. But guess what? Remember those critics of the Eiffel Tower and just move on with your strategy of thinking and acting differently. That's how Apple became Apple, because they think and act differently. Tip number 2, omnipresence. You have to be on all social media, or at as many social media as you can at all times. That's what omnipresent is all about. Omnipresent, it means you have to be in all social media at all times. That's how, again, as I said, you're gonna get your product and services out there. More and more people are going to know about your services. So if you're using just Facebook, and Instagram, start posting on LinkedIn. If you're not making videos on YouTube, start making videos on YouTube. If you don't have a presence on Pinterest, start on Pinterest. Get an account on TikTok and just get to as many social media as you can, because omnipresent will get of course, the attention of your potential customers, but it's gonna get you that maximization of exposure. And when you get that maximum exposure, that's when sales are gonna start coming in. So omnipresent, that's my second tip. Now, my third tip is the market pyramid. We have to have in mind that only 0.5 to 3% are actually going of your potential customers are actually going to buy your product or service. So for example, if you're selling, let's say, um, furniture, okay, and your target market is like, let's say, your city, people from your city between the age 25 and over, okay, that's your target market. Now, if we had a magic wand and we can, communicate or contact all those people within your city, okay, only 0.5 to 3% are going to be interested and actively looking to buy furniture. That is why when you're making posts on social media, you don't get any sales. Because if you just put posts on Facebook and on Instagram and you don't reach your whole target market, sales are not going to come in, because only 0.5 to 3% are actually looking and actively going to buy what you're selling. And it doesn't mean that 0.5 to 3% are going to buy from your store. They're just going to actively looking to buy a sofa, but they might buy the sofa from another furniture store. Okay, that's why you need omnipresent. That's why you have to get massive exposure, because only 0.5 to 3% are buying now. In addition to that, there is a 7% of people within your target market that they are thinking about buying, the type of products that you're selling. So again, that's why you have to have massive exposure. So the people who are thinking about it and they might gonna come, they might going to actually buy it, what they're looking for after 3 months or 4 months. Then if they know about your product or service, you're gonna get them as well. At least you're gonna get a chance to sell to them as well. If you don't have a massive exposure, if you don't have omnipresence, if you're not different, if you don't get their attention, then most probably they're not going to buy from you because they don't know you. Okay. In addition to that, there is a 20%, the 20% of your target market, they don't think about it, but if they see a post in social media about your product or service, they might, read it, or, they might take a look at it. Those are the people who might have a problem. They might have a wish to buy a new sofa, but their sofa is still okay. Something got their attention. They click on your ad or they see your video, but they're not there yet. They're not quite there to buy the product yet. They might buy after 6 months or even a year. That's why, again, you have to be out there at all times. Now, you have to remember this: 70% of your target market, okay, no matter how good your advertisements are, no matter how good is your pricing policy, no matter how good is your video, your advertisement, 70% they don't even care about your products because maybe they just bought, a sofa. So if you're a furniture store and you're selling sofas, if someone just bought a sofa, he's not interested to buy another sofa. That's why they're not interested. But those people are not interested at the moment. So if someone bought a sofa just now, he's not interested to buy another sofa, maybe for the next 4 to 5 years. Okay. So again, you have to make massive exposure, omnipresent, be out there, be different, but it's also really, really important to spend money on advertising. That's how you're going to reach the maximum exposure. If you're trying to make sales by, organic posts and you're not willing to invest in advertising, then just forget about maximizing sales. Now, can you even name a big company, a huge company, or a company that makes sales that don't spend money on advertising? I don't know anyone. Maybe you know, but it's only a few companies. Now, the companies that make the money are the companies that spend more money on advertising. So you have to spend money on advertising if you want to increase your sales. And of course, you have to measure the return on investment. So isolate how much money you're spending on Facebook, and then go and check out how many sales you get from Facebook. Isolate the money that you're spending on Instagram, and then isolate the sales that you're getting from Instagram. That's how you're going to find out where you should be continuing spending your money. So start investing money on advertising. Tip number 4. Now, we said you have to spend money on advertising, but you have to set your ads correctly. So stop boosting your posts on Facebook and Instagram. Go and set up your ads the correct way, which is the way you have to pay per click, okay, or pay per lead. Don't spend your money boosting your post, because as we saw from the market pyramid, 70% of the people who are watching your ads right now, if you just post an ad, they don't care about your product and services. So why spending money for the 70%, 20%, and 7%? Start spending money, start investing your ads on advertising, but pay per click. Because if you pay per click, everybody in your target market is going to see your ads, but you only gonna pay when someone click on your ad. And someone to click on your ad, that means he has an interest. That's why the click-through rate, the percentage of people clicking on ads, it's only 0.5 to 3%, because those are the people who are actively looking to buy something. Of course, you might get some people from the 7%, but why spending your money boosting posts, getting, that, of course, you get exposure, but you don't get any traffic to your website, you don't get any leads. So set up your ads correctly and start spending money through PPC, pay-per-click, or pay-per-lead. And Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and Google Ads, all those platforms has a way to set them correctly. You have to do, of course, the right training. Okay. Now, here's an example where even Facebook is doing pay-per-click advertisement in Google. So if you search for Facebook ads, as you can see here, that's an advertisement of Facebook doing a pay-per-click advertisement in Google. So even Facebook is investing in Google paying per click. Okay. So if you want to spend money on Facebook, again, as we said, invest your money and set up your Facebook ads and your Instagram ads and pay per click, and don't just boost them, because if you boost your post, you're going to pay per impression, which means you're going to pay because people saw your advertisement, not necessarily interested to buy your product. Tip number 5, engage with your audience, which means you have to ask them questions. If they ask you questions, reply back to them. Put like 4 different types of products and ask them which one they like, best, or put the same product but with 5 different colors and ask them which one like best, which one is their favorite color for your product. So ask them questions. That's the major way to engage with your audience. So go and ask questions on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. But when they're gonna reply back to you, you have to acknowledge that. So you can ask them even more questions. Why do you like? Okay, if you put, let's say, your product with 5 colors, and someone says to you, and your question might be, okay, which one is your favorite color? Someone says, okay, I prefer this red sofa. Then you can go and ask, okay, which one is your second favorite one? So you keep the engagement, because social media, it's all about being social. Okay, so engage with your audience. That's how you're gonna get their attention. That's how they can recall your brand, and that's how you're gonna get more sales. Which gets me to tip number 6. If you want to increase your leads, you have to start giving gifts. But you don't just give gifts by creating competition, like and share, and you're gonna get a competition. You tell them, if you want to get into a competition to win a sofa, okay, since we're talking about sofas, then you have to like and share the post, okay, but also you have to complete the form about the competition of winning a sofa. Okay, so if you give them gifts, always remember to give you in exchange their contact information, and that's how you're going to start building your lists. That's how you're going to start getting leads from social media. And there are 3 levels of gifts. Okay, now the first level is just what do I say? The first one, which is completely free, where they ask them to fill a form. You make a post on social media, you tell them, just go, have a great ebook on interior design. If you like it, just go to the following page, complete the form, and you're gonna automatically receive that free book on interior design. Okay. The second level is where we said free after competition, which means, we have a free sofa, we're giving a free sofa at the end of the month. If you want to participate in the draw, just click the link below. You're gonna take them to a specific form where they fill their contact information, and that's how they enter, the draw to win a sofa at the end of the month. That's the second level. And the third level of gifts you can give is like vouchers, discount vouchers. So for example, if you buy the sofa, you're gonna get like 100 euros voucher where you can spend it on any other, interior accessories, or any other, accessories for the home. So you induce them to buy something. So there are 3 levels of gifts that you can give, so you can get more leads, and then you ultimately get more sales. That's my presentation for now. Don't forget to connect with me at social media. Adonis Anastasio, as I said, is my name, and I have a Facebook profile, Facebook page, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. So everybody's welcome to join me. Drop me a point that you find where you find this presentation, and I'm going to reply back to you. Yes, I'm keeping my promises. I reply back to every single comment that I get on social media. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.
Hi everybody, hope you're all enjoying the event so far. I certainly am. I've been having a lot of fun learning from all the other speakers, and I hope to share something useful for you. I'm a marketer with about 15 years of experience, having worked with agencies to startups to retail brands. Today, I want to share with you my thoughts on how to sell online in today's world. This is the ultimate question, right? Some people might say you just need the right products, or you just need the right suppliers, or you just need good marketing, or you just need to be on Amazon, or you need to work with a good brand ambassador. So which one is it, right? Well, here's the thing. You need to find out yourself. However, I'm going to share a couple of things I keep in my mind that helps me out. You always need to start with your audience. These are the people that's going to buy your products, use your products, and hopefully love it so that they can share it with other people. These are the people that's going to leave reviews on your sites and comments on your social media. And we all know the importance of those, right? You need to create a brand that people recognize, love, remember, but share with their friends, but most importantly, trust. That's easy to say, right? Well, it's not that hard. Start by analyzing, dissecting, but rethinking everything to do with your brand and products, but think from your customer's perspective. Think from different angles. Think about the different touch points your audience might have with your brand or product. Here's an example. USPs, right? Unique selling propositions. Easy, right? Well, no. You don't just come up with USPs. You need to come up with USPs of your products that your audience find value. Think in the shoes of your customers. What about the products would they find valuable? Maybe it's not the style of the shirts, but it's the buttons that it's using. Maybe it's not the leather that's being used, but it's the types of pockets the bag offers. Did you think about that? How do you find out, right? Work with your customer experience teams. Work with your sales team. Ask on social media. Ask people that's visiting your websites. Your friends, your family, anybody you can get a good sample size from. You need to fully understand how your brand and products are perceived by your audience. That sounds like a lot of work, right? The truth is, it is. And don't think you can just take the easy route and just read an article or watch a video or take a short course on how to succeed in selling online or do what others are doing. You simply can't. You simply cannot take the success of others and replicate it to your business, even if it is the same products. You can take it as a reference for sure, but every company's products, history, reputation, value, branding, and many other things are different. Sure, reading an article or taking a short course can teach you the basic understanding of digital marketing and e-commerce for sure. But you have to be able to put on your filters and really think through how these tactics can be applied to your business and what works for you. Be careful what you read online. So the key here is to understand your audience first and foremost. This is very, very important. Because without this understanding, you won't know how to curate and create your content. You won't know how to position your products. You won't know what resonates with your customers. And you won't know how to stand out from your competitors. Don't just shoot in the dark. Take the time, ask, question things, and find out. Okay, to explain what I mean with this, you need to first understand where your audience are online and how they consume content online to how they behave and interact online. How they use the internet keeps changing all the time. You have to find out and change as they change. Apart from reading emails and online banking, spending time on social media is now the third most popular online activity today, at about 2.5 hours every day. The recent emergence of stories and IGTV, Reels and TikTok has also taught us that people want interactive, bite-sized, easy to understand, in your face, straight to the point, don't even make me think contents. However, despite all this, people are still expecting highly creative and interesting content, and hopefully content they've never seen before. But this is why TikTok is climbing to one of the top social media platforms today, and fast. Because this is exactly what TikTok offers. The global monthly downloads of TikTok have now surpassed Instagram and Facebook since early 2020. That's great, right? It makes it easier for us marketers. I would just go to TikTok and just start advertising and promoting my brand there, right? Well, not so fast. While social media is the best way to get your brand and products in front of the most people, because that's where everybody is online now, it's also very, very challenging. You have to tie in the fact that, on some level, everybody has a negative feeling towards ads. If they see that it's an ad or think it's an ad or just even feel that it's an ad, they get turned off. You have to understand that on social media, people are there not to be sold products, but they're there to socialize with others. So the goal here is to make your content as natural or as fitting to what the audience wants as possible. Another challenge here is that the average attention span of a human is now about 8 seconds, lower than a goldfish. You literally have seconds to show your brand, introduce your products, convince them that they need your product, or get them over to your store and then buy something. Whether you use creative content or enticing image or a very exciting video or a combination of all of them, quality over quantity. Always, you have to find a way. With the amount of time people spend on social media and the amount of content they consume, I feel you need to have sold your products to your customers before they even enter your store. With the amount of time people spend on social media and the amount of content they consume, I feel you need to have sold your products to your customers before they even enter your store. People no longer want to go into a store or your shop or your website and spend hours and hours browsing through your store. What's worse is that they are intrigued, they want to buy your products, but then they land on your website and they get overwhelmed and confused by all these different jargons you're using, all these different links that lead them away from the purchase. Or the worse yet, your UX is not correct and you drive them away because they can't find the products they're looking for. The most successful e-commerce sites I've ever seen doesn't have any links on their PDPs, except for the add to cart button. Imagine that. Whenever I do a website design or analyze sales of a website, I always start at the PDP level and the checkout flow and start setting up A/B tests and to find out more about what people are interacting with, clicking, reading. What you want is to have sold your products before they enter your site. But once they get to your site, it's got to be a quick and smooth flow directly into a transaction without any interruption. Okay, to me, this always boils down to two things: your branding and your content. Yes, obviously there's other things like your website is not responsive, or you send people to the wrong page from your ad, or you have a typo here or there. But these are minor because these are things you can easily identify and can easily fix. What I'm talking about here is your overall brand and the content you produce. The hours you spent in photo shoots and video shoots creating all this beautiful content. The worst experience someone can have is to see your products on a site like Amazon, and if you're in retail, how the products look on the shelf, then visit your website or your social media or see your ads and have totally different experiences because the overall branding is off. Everything from how your logo is used to the colors you use, the images, the copy, the brand voice, the design elements you use, it's all very, very important. Every misalignment, inconsistency, means unprofessionalism. And remember, since people's expectations of products and brands are so high now, They only want to buy from the best, most professional brands. I always start with your physical products because these are variables that you can't just change. Study what the colors are used on the packaging, the fonts that are using, the sizes, the copy, the visuals. These now serve as my brand guidelines that I use, to create content. If at any point you're creating content that doesn't align, you have to change it. Be strict with yourself and strict with others that are working on the contents. Start thinking about every single touch point that a customer could potentially have with your brand and products and start tackling them one at a time. Again, this could be the packaging, to the website, to the social media channels, the posts, the emails that they're getting from you, or how your listings look on Google, to the ads you're running. It's all got to be consistent. Remember, consistency builds brands and again, fosters into trust. Invest in your creative and content teams. Work with different teams and departments in your company and strategize on how you can provide an overall seamless experience for your customers. Let's face it, everybody is a detective nowadays because you can just about Google anything and find out information you think the customers might not know about. Like what each ingredient you're using is, to what materials you're using in your products, or or if they can make the products themselves. Customers are becoming smarter than you think. As a marketer, it's very important to create honest communication with your customers, by offering transparency to them. Use social media, use email marketing, use ads and videos, to get messages across to your customers. If something positive and exciting is happening at your company, share it. You want to build a relationship with your customer, and remember, every successful relationship is based on trust and honesty. People tend to support those who support others and care for others. I certainly do. If you're donating or supporting a charity, don't be afraid to share it and flaunt it. Again, remember, work with your CX teams. Have them care for your customers and build up those relationships. Get insights from them. The CX team holds a vault of very valuable information that can be used in marketing and even in sales. They talk with the customers all day long through phone calls, emails, live chats, social media messages, comments. They know the positives and the negative things they have to say about your brand and your products. They know what your customers want or need, or quite frankly, is confused about. Through these little interactions that your CX team is engaged in, you can even find out where each type of audience is from and from which platform. Who are the customers that are calling versus emailing or using Facebook Messenger. Through these little insights, you can then cater your marketing to the right audience on the right channels at the right time. Where I'm working at now, I have our CX team join all our marketing meetings. And at any point during a discussion, if anything comes up that doesn't resonate with the audience, I have them speak up. Another thing I'm seeing more brands are doing is showing what happens behind the scenes of how the products are made, where they're made, and what goes into the products. I think this is awesome and this is really, really great. People are more health conscious now and more sensitive to what they put on or into their bodies. It builds a lot of trust to your brand and products if you show your customers exactly how it's made. Obviously, it helps if your products are safe and not harmful to the environment, but hey, if it is, that's okay. Just focus on the points that are. But always have a crisis management plan. Here's what I mean by that. If someone were to comment, leave a comment on your social media or a bad product review on Amazon or talking about something that you want to keep under the radar, have a plan to immediately diffuse the situation and take it offline. Don't just delete it though. People know and are aware if you do that. Remember, customers are really smart now. You should only delete comments if they use profanity or infringes on the policies of the platforms. Like at the end of the day, the higher the transparency, the more the customer understands about your brand, the company, your products, the more trust it builds, and ultimately providing bigger and longer lifetime value. Needless to say, the pandemic has propelled and accelerated brands and businesses online. Especially when physical retail was shut down and nobody wants to leave their homes. Amazon's net revenue went from 280 billion in 2019 to 386 billion in 2020. That's huge. Now more than ever, you need to have some sort of presence online. Get online and start building a small community, even if it's just on social media. Get online and start a website, so Google can index it, so people can start talking about your brand and your products. Start understanding your customers. I cannot stress that enough. Start generating those, bite-sized content and show them to where your customers are over the internet seamlessly across different channels and devices, and build a brand customers can trust. And all your competitors are succeeding online and you're not, you will be left behind. Yes, it does take time and patience and a lot of hard work, but start building now. It's never too late. That's all I have to share with you today. I hope you found it useful, and thanks.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are tuning in from. Thank you for joining me today in this session where we'll be talking a lot more about e-commerce and digital transformation. Before I start, I hope everybody is doing okay. Everybody's taking care of their physical and mental well-being in these difficult times. Quick introduction about me. I am Bikash Pathak. I am signing in from Dubai. I'm a passionate digital native who has been in e-commerce and digital transformation over the last 10 years across multiple multi-billion dollar retailers, legacy retailers, as they transform into omni-channel players. And that's what we'll be talking about today. How do we transform legacy retailers into omni-channel players? This is not a set template. This is more of a matrix based on what I have experienced, based on my successes, and lessons from my setbacks so that you don't make the same pitfalls. I hope you walk away with from this session, take something valuable to kind of define your own transformation roadmap. So let's get started. I hope you all can see my screen. All right. So we have been talking about COVID. It's the buzzword, isn't it? The words unprecedented new normal. I'm not even going to use them. But in all the devastation, I think one of the biggest benefactor of COVID has been digital transformation, the unexpected ally. And like Winston Churchill says, never let a good crisis go to waste. And I think that's where e-commerce and digital transformation is definitely focusing. Now, this is a quick snapshot from McKinsey, how e-commerce and digital transformation has accelerated by close to 7 years due to COVID. And most of these changes will be permanent. So if you're one of those businesses who never really had e-commerce into their plan, at least for the next 1 or 2 years, but now are pivoting to it, you are in the right platform. There is no other way to survive as we navigate these changes. However, with the good things though, there are certain caveats. Another McKinsey study, and I've seen this with my own personal experiences, 70% of large-scale digital transformation initiatives fail to reach their objectives. Now, this might be for varied reasons, right? I mean, when we talk about digital transformation, mostly people open their website or launch an app, and that is the be-all and end-all of it. Normally, it's much more wider than that, and that's what we're going to talk about today. I think while you embark on this journey, it is important to know at what stage you are in this transformational journey. Are you a single channel retailer? I mean, do you have only stores or do you have only a website, a pure play e-commerce? You could be at any channel. Are you a multi-channel? Do you have stores in the business today? Do you have a website and an app? And effectively, they are operated as different businesses with different experiences. Or are you a cross-channel player where, yes, there is some engagement, there is some cross-functional, cross-channel shopping happening, but it's not a holistic ecosystem. Like you might have buy online and click from stores, collect from stores, but that does not necessarily mean you're driving the omni-channel ecosystem. Or are you truly omni-channel, that all your systems are connected, it's harmonized, it's giving customers the true experience, channel agnostic, and whatever you do, customer is at the heart of it. Now, it's very important for you to define very objectively where you are at this journey. I think omni-channel is an overused word many a times. Whenever people or brands or retailers launch an app or a web, they say we are omni-channel. That's not really the case in most instances. You are either a multi-channel or a cross-channel retailer. And it's very important to define that objectively so that you build your roadmap accordingly. Now, when you define your transformation model, you need to position it in terms of your organization structure, in terms of your P&Ls, and in terms of what do you want it to eventually become, right? Now, these are three very common models I've seen across businesses. And again, you will have to choose which ones fits your model the best. But then it's an iterative and evolutionary process, right? Now, normally, based on personal experiences across different retailers in different lifespan of their journey, and in different geographies, what I have seen work best is when you start an organization-wide transformation project, you need to set up digital as a center of excellence. You need to set it up as an innovation hub that is going to drive change across the organization. Now, benefit of this is it is obviously a new vertical. It is looking at innovating the existing processes. It needs to be isolated at times so that it can drive those changes. So this is something that is, in a way, forward-looking, that gives it the right space to grow, to nurture the existing businesses, and to shape it accordingly. Now, once you have this set up and you're seeing traction, you're seeing change happening, real change on the ground, be it in terms of technology, processes, or people, you might want to set up digital as a profit center, where you kind of look at your e-commerce or omnichannel business as one separate P&L, where it is driving revenue, driving profits. Now, normally you want to incubate this as a business vertical, where the focus is on growth hacking and revenue channel, essentially. So all your objectives, all your acquisition, marketing or technology is going to be based on return on investment, is going to be goal oriented. So essentially, you are not a center of excellence anymore. You are driving a real revenue to the company. And I think at a point, this monetization becomes very important. Now, once you have done this, and obviously it sounds very simplistic, but it happens over multi-years at times, if not multi-periods. So once you have established your digital vertical, there would come a time when you need to look at one business, one P&L approach. And that's where digital becomes part of your wider brand ecosystem. For example, today, if you're a mono brand retailer, if you have stores and e-commerce set as two different businesses, at some point you have to merge them. You have to merge the objectives so that it's one 360-degree view for the business. And that's what will drive your true omnichannel experience, where one team, one dream, one P&L, channel agnostic KPIs. Now, that is the holy grail you want to get to. And based on what I've seen, this is what's the life cycle going to look like in a way. Now, what is that structured approach to digital transformation? I think this is where most of the companies struggle, especially now when we're in the middle of a pandemic, the pressures on your P&L is supremely high, your stores are suffering. It's very tempting to launch a website and just build it and let it grow in a silos. But that's going to be a pitfall later down the line, something we'll talk about. So a structured approach to digital transformation would be, you have to define your core vision. What do you want to achieve out of this? What is your goal and purpose of driving omni-channel change or transformation into your business? Now, once you have defined that, and that could be anything. It could be like you want to expand your business geographically. You want to maybe recalibrate your store presence and make it more digital centric. You want to push customers into online first as a research, and then push those customers back into stores for purchases. It could be anything, as long as it has a tangible, measurable goal to it. Now, once you have defined that vision, you need to define your omnichannel value proposition. I'm putting something out here based on businesses I have built with companies. So your omnichannel value proposition could be your marketing and loyalty, how across functionally or omnichannel wise you're going to develop that. It could be pricing and assortment between stores, between online, giving that experience and value chain to the customers. It could be core omnichannel experiences where it's about a person walking into a store, transacting in the store digitally and getting a wow experience. Then, of course, you need to build the caveat of digital operations, your different team structures and all of that. Now, once you have defined your value system or value proposition, the other caveats that make or break a digital transformation initiative is, how are you using your data? You have to be smart about using your data. And this is a very real and tangible opportunity. Most of the legacy retailers have been in business for decades, if not half a century or a century even, in some of the cases I've worked with. Now, all this while, a very set and very, I would say, I won't say old school, a very classical way of looking at data has always existed. You look at data in the form of sales reports. You look at data in the form of human intelligence that's happening in store when the customers are interacting at your POS. But then now with digital, you have a much wider caveat of data that you can really leverage. Behavioral data of how people are interacting with your website, data from your CRM, what's happening out there. So we need to have that single view or a single layer of data so that we make better decisions about our businesses, about our assortment, about our strategies, and eventually about driving that experience for our customers. So smart data is super important. The right technology. I think this is, and I'm sure it's like preaching to the choir. Most of the people in the audience would be dealing with this challenge as we speak, because most of the legacy retailers are set up on legacy IT processes. I mean, we are talking about systems that will be servicing the business extremely well for the last 10, 20 years. But now suddenly we are talking about building e-commerce over those legacy layers of technology. And at times they just don't talk to each other. And that's where the problem arises as you scale. How do you break down those technology silos? So that's definitely one of the issues that you will deal with. I would say the most important though, having that digital ready team. What I've seen in the past is when businesses launch e-commerce, they repurpose some of their existing staff who have been in stores, who have been in offline businesses to take over digital. I won't say that is wrong. I think everything is done due to some purpose, constraints, and objectives. But I would definitely say that if you're launching digital and you are serious about this initiative, you need to have a digital ready team. I think you need to have those skill sets that can eventually train your wider ecosystem of people. That is super important and almost non-negotiable. Last but not the least, I'm sure as some of the senior members in your businesses, the whole capex and investment paradox, right? I think that is one of the biggest challenges, especially during the pandemic, where yes, digital is exciting, it is growing, everybody's talking about it, it is the buzzword, but I'm assuming majority of your revenue is coming from stores and they are suffering. So how do you get the buy-in and capex needed for your digital transformation projects? I think that's one of the biggest conundrums of this era as we talk about balancing profitability with investments. Now, I think the whole aspect about doing sweeping changes across the organization, get it out of the window. Don't even think about it. I would say start small with one business unit, with one business vertical, experiment, show those results, and then iterate. That it needs to be an iterative and agile process rather than looking at a 3 to 5 years plan of, hey, we're going to change this entire organization into a fully digitized player. I think that's not going to be the objective anymore. You need to drive those small changes. You need to monetize. You need to show the ROI, and you need to keep on growing that cycle. I think that's the way to do it. That's the way that has worked for me, even in these times, and I hope it'll work for you. Now, once you have defined your growth structure, what is going to drive that digital growth? Again, going back to the whole familiar pitfall where at times stakeholders believe that, okay, we have the website live now, we have the app, let's make some money. Now, yes, that can still work. That is still going to give you some runway in the short term, but that will never be sustainable for you. So I would say holistically digital as a cycle, right? And this is what I want to project out here with this particular slide. It might look a bit messy, but bear with me, right? So when we talk about digital growth, whether you are an omnichannel player or you are a marketplace or a pure player mono brand, it starts with the user acquisition, right? And I would say as a legacy retailer, your biggest advantage is you already have a brand name, you have a brand equity, you have a user base. And your biggest strength is going to be how do you transform this existing user base from offline to online, an O2O acquisition in a sense. Because the moment you do that, their lifetime value and their frequency or the RFM matrix is going to increase 4x over a period. And that's something very important because, and speaking very candidly here, I've seen cases in the past where once a legacy retailer launches e-commerce, the store business holders at times feel threatened that, hey, now we have e-commerce, it's going to be an erosion of business from my stores to online. You have to mitigate that fear. You have to get people in on the same page to get over that. Because the erosion of customers is not going to happen internally. It's going to happen from players who are out there outside of your ecosystem. For example, in this region, we have the likes of Amazon and a few other marketplaces who are the biggest threats. I would say threats. It's a very strong word, but they are the biggest threats to traditional retail players, not your own internal websites. In fact, you got to merge these two channels together and make it more successful. So going back to user acquisition, you need to get your offline user base online. You need to have that O2O engagement going. And at the same time, you need to ramp up your digital acquisition, get new customers into your ecosystem, right? And this is where the benefit of digital is. You can get those younger people into your cycle, into your ecosystem. Now, once you have acquired, and it is expensive, I mean, cost of customer acquisition in digital, especially in Middle East and now even in Europe, it's a super expensive proposition. You need to wow them with the experience. And when I say user experience, it's across all touch points for the customer. It is in the app, it is in the web, and the mobile experience. How connected is that experience in store? How connected is that experience in social media? So you cannot look at these channels as silos anymore. It needs to be connected, cohesive, and it needs to know which customer they are talking to, whatever be the channel. So that's where it becomes super important for you to have that single view of customer, irrespective of channel. Now, let's say you have tackled the problem of user experience, and it is not a problem or an opportunity, it's a continuous flow. You need to wow them with your products and promotions, and UX and your commercials are almost part of the same caveat in a sense. Now, you need to understand and define what is that factor that's going to drive people to your website. It could be the widest assortment. It could be something more than what they can find in store. That could be one of the reasons. It could be some amazing deals that they can only find online, something that is very overused now in our e-commerce businesses and ecosystems. Or it could be purely about convenience that, hey, if you buy online, you can get it delivered to your home in the next 2 hours. So you need to define what those USPs are and play it accordingly. Now, personally, based on what I've seen, I would say you need to go for the widest assortment plus some online exclusives to get people onto your platform. You need to still drive uniform pricing because you don't want a disparity at ticket price level between a product being sold online and in store. I think that's going to be super confusing. But then have those exclusive online moments, let's say Black Friday or Cyber Monday, where they know that if they come on the website, there's something exciting that's going to happen. Now, to drive that connected experience, you would need a single view of inventory, and this is super critical and more of a technology piece. So when you would start, I would assume ideally you'd have a dedicated warehouse for e-commerce where the online business stock is being stored, and then you have stock for your different stores and the whole ecosystem. Now, I'm a big proponent of having single view of inventory. First of all, because it reduces your OPEX cost, where you don't have to buff up your online inventory, where if you're new, you still are analyzing and understanding the trends. So you need to keep your OPEX cost low. Single view of inventory is going to drive more customer satisfaction because it will enable you to ship your orders based on the recency and frequency of your customer plus where he is located geographically, right? So if you have a store in Amsterdam and your HQ is in Berlin, you can ship to that customer from Amsterdam rather than incurring all of that cost of shipping from Berlin, for example, right? So you need to have that single view of inventory. Now, let's say if you have all of this sorted out, one of your biggest core competencies is going to be the logistics and service that you provide to the customer. I mean, some of the no-brainers would be capabilities like buy online, pick up in store, return in store, which is something that will actually help you compete with marketplaces, and you need to have that in your offering ecosystem. Delivery options. What are you exactly offering customers? I think this is something John Lewis does very well. It gives customers the flexibility of when and how they can have that order. And that could be one of your nuances or one of your advantages over some of the more matured marketplaces out there in terms of that service proposition. One thing that we have seen grow significantly are payment flexibilities. A new theme that has dominated recently the Middle East and Europe market is buy now, pay later, which gives the flexibility to customers to buy now and pay later in installment free options. So you need to have those ammunition in your ecosystem to make your digital growth a sustainable one. I think last but not the least, most important than all of this in a way is how you're looking at data and how you're driving it to have more retention for customers, right? Now, we talked about in the last slide about how being smart about data is super critical for legacy retailers transforming into omnichannel. Few of the things that I want to again highlight is you need to have a single view of your customers, and that's where you need to have a customer data platform. It's something you have to invest in. Build that first party data first of all. I think because soon enough the whole conversation about cookies being obsolete, it also drives that need for single view of customers. But more importantly, as legacy retailers, you'd have built millions, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions, right, of customers over your period of existence. Now you need to see all those customers, irrespective of channel, as one cohort. You need that's what will drive the maximum personalization and experience for the customer. Now, second part is you need to look at KPIs specific to channels and their ROIs. That could be marketing KPIs, that could be acquisition KPIs, or what you're doing in terms of different channels of marketing. For example, if you're looking at big outdoor campaigns, you need to have data-centric KPIs that what do I expect out of it? What is going to be my ROI of this campaign? And same goes for different digital marketing campaigns, be it pay-per-clicks, be it CRM activations and all of that. So the whole idea is you need to have measurable KPIs for all your activations. And then you need to A/B test constantly. It sounds a very geeky thing to do, A/B test for most legacy retailers. That why do I need to do this? But you need to get into the cycle of testing, iterating, and then deploying over and over again. I think that's one of the big cultural changes that need to be driven, in legacy retail transformation. Then once you have all of these buckets in place, you have your CDPs in place, you have tested your different mechanisms, you need to get into the zone of segmentation and personalization. I think in today's world, personalization is an overused, especially AI-driven personalization. It's an overused word, but eventually, the goal of all your CDP and the loyalty program needs to be that one-to-one personalization connect. I think that's what's going to drive sustainability into your business. It's going to drive conversion and higher AOVs at potentially lower margin cost. So you need to look at segmentation and personalization when it comes to assortment, experience, and even promotions. Now, we have talked about a few must-haves into your digital transformation journey. Let's talk about some of the cliched pitfalls that all big legacy retailers invariably fall into and how you should and you can avoid those, right? So I would say the biggest pitfall or the biggest risk is change management and accountability. Uh, it is simplistic to quote as a cohort, change management and accountability. But most of your digital transformation initiatives fail because of this particular piece. And again, working with multiple legacy retailers, I've seen what has worked and what has not is how clearly defined is that vision and the mission. Why exactly do you want to go digital? Do you even need to go digital? I think it's very easy to get caught in this whole buzz, in this whole halo effect of digital being the silver bullet for retail. I think it's very tempting, right? But rather than doing that, you need to define that clear vision and what is your core objective to drive it. Now, once you have that defined, and it could be internal consensus, it could be with help of consultants, it could be with the help of research, whatever it takes. Now, once you have that defined, you have to drive it top down. It has to be top down, unfortunately. And in this case, democracy might not be the best way to go forward. Why I say it is it's a vision. It's an encompassing vision, and change is always harder to accept when you have day-to-days to take care of. So you cannot expect the frontliners out there to really understand and be the whole missionaries of this change. It needs to be driven from the top. It needs to be driven with a concentrated effort, with a dedicated a resource and task force behind it, and then only it can become more meaningful. And talking about driving it from the top, ultimately it's your frontline on the ground force that is going to make or break this. It will be those guys on the store who are interacting with customers, guys in your logistics system who are delivering products to the customer, or your merchants and your buyers who are actually going out there in the market and buying the products. They will decide whether this works or fails. It's as simple as that. So once we have this bias for action, once we have the mission defined, once we have a dedicated CXO team leading this, you need to define very clear objectives and KPIs for everybody across the organization. That what is that weight of digital into everything that do. That could be KPIs for, let's say, digital growth within their categories that is going to impact their bonuses or your salary increments or promotions. But it has to be measurable goals so that everyone in the organization knows that if I miss this, this is going to be my impact. If I hit this, this is going to be my impact. You need to have that carrot and stick. There is no other way around it. Now, once you have the change management piece sorted out, and when I say sorted out, it's a continuous piece, right? But once you have defined it, it's super important to invest in people and processes. And why I keep repeating this is because legacy retailers have existed for decades with the same people and processes at times. When I say people, it may not be the same people, but the same roles, right? And suddenly you are impacted with a change that's going to transform everything. It is very hard to pivot without really defining what those changes might look like. So when you are embarking on your journey of digital transformation, bring in digital ready skill set. There is no negotiating around it. You need to have a dedicated team that understands digital across a business, across commercials, marketing, technology, UX, data. You need to bring those skill sets. Now, once you have those skill sets in the team, you have built your core component of that organization structure for digital. You obviously need to invest in upskilling your existing workforce. And that again could be across your legacy ITs, across your commercial teams and logistics, that in their day-to-days, how now digital pivots their routines or their skill sets so that they are part of this. This needs to be a formalized training approach. And then, like I talked about in the last slide, this needs to be incentivized or penalized based on performances. Now, you have the people, you have the drive. Now you need to look at all your business processes. Are they suited for your omnichannel transformation? To give you a very simple example, I mean, I have been in retail e-commerce all my life, right? And fashion has been a major part of it. Before e-commerce or omnichannel, whenever buyers are ordering products or buying products, they don't need to really focus on attributes of products, like what is exactly the material composition, is it what sort of silhouettes is it, what is that exact color. Yes, they have all of that for their own review, but it is not standardized. But then with e-commerce, you need those attributes as an absolute must-have, because that's going to impact your filtering, that's going to impact your search, and lots of other customer-facing, let's say, avenues or touch points. So that itself is a business process change. So you need to identify all those processes across your business spectrum and make it fast and launch it with those pivots in processes. Because if you let this step stir and stay and see and shimmer, you're never going to achieve your transformational goals. I think investment in people and processes needs to be even before you launch your e-commerce platform. I think that's the way to do it. Otherwise, it's going to be a cycle, chicken and egg cycle all the time. Now, I think this is something that is I would say, the thorn in every path, isn't it? Your investment in technology and data. And this is the big capex bucket we're talking about. But it is a necessary evil. We need to look at revamping legacy IT. And it doesn't have to be a vanilla change, right? It can be into smaller modules. Let's say you start off by identifying what is that most important legacy IT part that I need to revamp for e-commerce. It could be inventory, it could be data, it could be even POS or CRM processes. But whatever it is, you need to identify it and you need to start revamping that legacy IT component, because it is not scalable to build e-commerce over a very aging IT ecosystem where it'll always be siloed, you know. And from day one, you need to have a vision of that by X, Y, Z years, I'm going to have a very cohesive and cognizant ecosystem where all components are talking to each other. This is non-negotiable, especially this year. If you are launching e-commerce and scaling e-commerce within legacy retail, you need to invest in building and leveraging first-party data. I think this is your biggest asset as a legacy retailer. You have customers who are loyal to you. You have customer data who have shopped with you. Now you need to bring it all together and massage that and make it more proactive to monetize your business. So how does this impact you, right? Why do you need this? So once you have a good, strong customer data platform, you can do so much with it. You can do personalized offer, you can do segmented communication, and all of this is going to impact your business in clear, monetary, defined KPIs. So do not delay on this. I would say invest in a CDP, invest in building and collecting first party data if you're not doing it already. And lastly, AI and machine learning. I think these are still considered as very fancy, cutting-edge technology, but I would say not anymore. I would say these are not optional gambits that you can ignore in your business. I think businesses who are using AI and ML into their forecasting, into logistics, into customer persona building, they are winning it, at least for the next 5 to 10 years. So start investing, or at least start being aware of how you can integrate AI and ML into your business. I think these are not fancy new age terms anymore. These are critical components of business for the future, and that future is not very far away. So I think it's time that we rather have a very serious look at how we integrate AI and ML into our businesses. Now, I think this is critical. You need to reimagine your marketing strategy. You need to make it measurable. I mean, in the past, and I've seen this happen so many times, where we go out and we have a massive outdoor ATL campaign or a print media campaign, and we just don't know how it worked. We assume that that was a massive success because we paid XYZ amount. But I think need of the hour, especially with COVID crippling our cash flows, you need to make your marketing efforts measurable. And that means moving a part of it, significant part of it, into digital, where it is all ROI and ROAS based. Content is still the king. Whether you're doing it in print, in digital, I think nothing beats a great content, nothing beats a great personalized connection with customers. And even more so now, where people are isolated, people are looking for that human connection while they are trying to withstand this massive onslaught of COVID and social isolation. So, how you communicate with your customers, what sort of content you kind of get them on, is still the paramount thing that's going to ensure that you have recall and top of the mind value when you are in the business. And lastly, retention is cooler than acquisition. And I am a passionate digital guy. And in most of the e-commerce players, it's all about my daily active users. It's all about my MAUs. But I feel retention is more sustainable than acquisition. It is more cost effective and its lifetime value is much longer. And that's where legacy retailers need to invest in, because your business model will be different from marketplaces. You are not a VC driven top line chasing business. Your goal is to make your business bottom line savvy. Your business is profitability, you know. So you need to invest in retention, and that can only be done once you have your customer data platform, once you understand where your customers are, which channel, which geography, and what they are looking for. And you can only do that once you have the data which can help you make informed decisions. So focus on retention as you scale your acquisition. Prioritize CX. I think it is quite self-explanatory in a sense. You have to prioritize your customer experience. You need to go where your customers are. Now, if that means your customers want to shop in marketplaces, you need to invest in building a shop in those popular marketplaces. If they want to shop on social, you need to think about starting social commerce. If they want to be interacted with on WhatsApp, you need to get on WhatsApp for Business. So you need to go where the customers are, and eventually you need to get into the cycle of testing, analyzing that, implementing that, seeing the results, and repeating. I think you need to take that iterative approach of learning from data. We talked about it in terms of the digital growth cycle, and this is something that needs to be a continuous process. You need to let data drive your decisions. And most importantly, you need to prioritize your last mile experience. And I strongly believe that this is what differentiates a legacy retailer driving into omnichannel from a marketplace that is purely driving for top line, right? Your customers trust you. Your customers have been with you for decades, if not centuries. So you need to leverage that. You need to have that amazing last mile experience that's going to be that USP for you, and not just prices, not just crazy deals that's going to bleed out your bottom line. So focus on CX and you're going to win the game, and if not beat, but then match your big ticket marketplaces. So that's it from me. I hope you had a great time listening to this. I hope I could drive some solid takeaways. And if you want to catch up, I'll leave my details. If you can reach me out via the guys at Digital for Europe. Lovely speaking here, and let's stay in touch. Take care.
Hi everyone, this is Dr. Lavlingo, and the topic which I am going to discuss today is artificial intelligence and optimization of customer journey. I am a professor and a program leader of artificial intelligence in Amity International Business School, Amity University, Noida, India. And this topic is a very important and hot topic, as you all know, and everyone is very much excited, I know, to listen that how this artificial intelligence is nowadays helping in optimization of each step of customer journey, whether it is a pre-purchase or post-purchase. So with this, introduction, I am starting with my first slide. So this slide is all about some quotes which preferably I like. So as rightly said by Garner Chris, that customer experience nowadays is a new battlefield, and you must have seen all the researches which is coming up, the main important areas, because technology has revolutionized the world, and AI is one area which has actually impacted from healthcare, from retail to everywhere, and the customer is the most important aspect in everyone's area. Now, we also know that Microsoft has said very clearly that by 2025, as many as 95% of all customer interaction will be through channels supported by artificial intelligence. And we also have seen that the kind of digital transformation which is taking place, it will definitely going to impact the customer journey, the kind of interactions that we are doing nowadays. So again, here you can see these are the two quotes which I categorically wanted to mention, which we have taken from the Harvard Business Review, that customer experience and employee experience are now two of the driving force of the business. So as rightly said by many, that customer is the most important aspect, as well as nowadays we also need to focus on the employee experience. So how we will going to keep the pace with the customer experience and the employee experience, that is the major focus of the industry right now. Apart from that, there is another quote which is very important to understand, that if we are providing a great customer service, is not only only equal, it is the responsibility of not a one department, but today what we call that customer experience is something which is the responsibility of everyone, and to meet the expectation is not a responsibility of only marketing people, but it is a kind of a journey which travels from the initial touch point to the final touch points. Now, another very important question, as I already said, that why we need to focus on customer experience. There are few some data points which I want to highlight here, that 39%. This is the a blog from where I have taken one this whole data, and it says very categorically that customers who keep a distance from vendors are nearly 2 years after a bad experience. So this kind of data is already provided. Then 59% who have a higher expectation for customer services than ever before. Then another 50% users who expect a quick response on social media queries. So the kind of customer segmentation here we can see is very crucial, and we have to understand that why it is becoming very important to understand the customer experience. Then US adults who say that valuing their time is vital in terms of customer experience. Again, time is the most important factor, and 66% of US adults are focusing on valuing their particular time, that can actually reduce the lines and the waiting time and enhance their customer experience. Then 61% says that users who have switched brands due to poor customer services. The customer service is the very important aspect, and that is why we are focusing on the customer experience. Then 86% are the buyers who are ready to pay more for a great customer experience. Again, in all these data points and the percentages provided, one thing is very common, that ultimately customer experience and the digitalization is the focus. If we want to enhance the customer experience, we need customization, we need a tailor-made approach for customization and for enhancing the customer experience. And this is the reason why the customer experience is the focus for every marketer today. This is one slide which is taken by a particular a research paper, and the authors have very beautifully, if you can see, have created a three-step process of pre-purchase, purchase, and the post-purchase. Here, pre-purchase aspects which are related to behavior. One is the need recognition, consideration, and the search processes. So, if you see what is the journey of a customer, we all know that when there is a customer journey, then first there are few touch points which are related to pre-purchase. Then there are few points which are related to purchase, where we are talking about the behaviors, choice, ordering, and the payment. And then comes the post-purchase section. So this is the third and the last one, where behaviors, consumptions, usage, engagements, and the service requests, makes very emphasized. So these three constitutes our one customer journey. Now, how we will going to collect the data for this pre-purchase, making purchase, and then checking the post-purchase behavior of a customer. So here you can see the different sources which are being mentioned. One is the demographic data, and we all know what is the demographic data. That is age, gender, and the location and the region of a particular customer. Then we can also have a psychographic data, their behavioral data, their transactional data, the kind of transactions they have done, and the historical data, the kind of pre-purchase or the history they have with that particular company or the particular sector. And then comes your online activity, that is search click. So here you can see for pre-purchase whether what kind of activities are being done at pre-purchase level. So you can see the demographic, psychographic, behavioral is the most important aspect which is being collected at the pre-purchase point. So online activities, searches, clicks, finding the particular product or online mode, all these things are being done, and then social media presence will going to tell us about their psychographic and the behavior. Then email, chat, conversation, and the AI chatbots will help us to collect this demographic, psychographic, and the behavioral data. Now, moving to the second aspect, which is the purchase part. Once our customer has already analyzed that what they want to purchase, what is their requirement, then they move to a second section, and that is the purchase section. And how this optimization will going to help, how digital transformation will going to help in this scenario, that I'm going to discuss later. But again, here when it comes to the purchase part, then it is an e-commerce company of own database. These are the two aspects which considers the purchase part. So in e-commerce, you can see that demographic data, psychographic data, behavioral data, transactional, and the historical, all these are being collected, and the company on database have their demographic data, transactional, and the history, and they may have psychographic or behavioral data, but may not be disclosing it, or due to some ethical constraints, might be customer have not provided them with all these kind of data, because this is something which for that research has to be ethical, and they need permission to conduct such kind of data, and disclosing of such data is also very harmful in case of the products which are very sensitive in nature. And then comes your post-purchase behaviors. The post-purchase behaviors, consumption, usages. If we talk about again, in post-purchases, the people go and provide the feedbacks, reviews, surveys. They also sometimes interact with the chatbots for providing the feedback. So, social media, survey, and email chat conversations, these are the main touch points where we can have, we can analyze what is the customer behavior, what was their consumption pattern, whether they were satisfied, whether they were happy or not, what was the sentiments they were having at that particular time. So these three aspects makes the customer journey. As my topic is related to the customer journey, optimization of customer journey using AI, so the main aspect which I am covering in this slide is the portion that how a particular purchase happens, what are the three aspects of a purchase, and then later on how optimization is going to help, that AI is going to help. This is what they have written here. You can see in the dotted line: customer profiling, ad targeting, promotion strategy, client acquisition, and pricing strategy. That comes under pre-purchase part, and this is the digital transformation and the automation which where AI can help us. Then purchase history, demand forecasting, and the pricing again comes into the purchase part, and their automation can be done with the help of AI for large segment, for grocery retailing or any kind of retailing. Then comes your predictive analytics, monitoring, and this various CRM, customer relationship management activities, which can be performed with the help of post purchase. So predictive analytics to find out of the forecast, to predict, to detect that how a customer will going to behave in later stages. That can be done with the help of social media analysis, as I said, the sentiment analysis, Twitter analysis, emoji detection. These are the nowadays very crucial, the vital important researches which are being conducted nowadays to make a post purchase pattern, to identify the behavior of the customer. So this slide is all about the purchase behavior pattern and how AI is being utilized for optimization of the customer journey. So this is a very beautiful picture, and which is being created by the authors of this paper, and DOI is also mentioned if anyone is interested to know how big data and AI is helping in the optimization of the customer journey. Now, to elaborate more that how different touch points are being acted and how people are working on this, I am I am just explaining few areas to discuss that how AI is changing the customer experience. So the main areas and the points where you can see that it is precise and tailored endorsement. What it does, it helps to analyze the customers purchase decisions and create recommendations. These recommendations will help build targeted marketing campaigns and build predictive and customer experience. AI can take the help of natural data to understand purchase patterns and perform predictive and prescriptive analysis that will drive engagement. AI will also categorize tactics to shape and create a journey around customer experience. Superior approvals will make the likelihoods for upselling and cross-selling of further products. This is the first important aspect of the customer experience, that is precise and tailored endorsements. Second is the competent and social facility, as we know that sociable facility, because speed here matters. How customer want fast, efficient and friendly service. AI chatbots that demands continuously and efficiently. Chatbot also come with lesser errors, improving the scope for customer to get the right information as they need it. Customer can get information as per their need and get consistently better at analyzing that information. Customer support can be a game changer as it needs to be responsive, consistent, focused. AI tools in this regard, including chatbot, can solve the basic queries. It reduces the touch points, streamline interactions, and help with complex issues. Virtual assistants through AI help customers navigate the process and engage them in conversations. Even AI agents can reduce the hassle of reaching customer online with natural language processing, machine learning, and voice assisting help. This is the second point. Third, it supports real-time data and which supports decision making. Artificial intelligence allows companies to use biometric tracking and data analytics to engage with customers on a deep level. Facial expressions are also considered, and this let the customer experience be personalized and customized. AI data tools can make tasks like data cleaning, combing, and the rearranging, and that will be much in a quicker and a less expensive way. Real-time data like customer feedback, responses, service requests, and interaction times can make such kind of customer experience better and effective one. AI will also improve customer trends, aid in improving customer interaction, and extract valuable points. Real-time data will help visually analyze and engage with users on a personal level. That information will help you deliver good support and service for customers and build stronger relations at deeper level. Another important point is improve product recommendation. So how this recommendation takes place? Teams can use AI-led recommendations that combine data with information to provide the best product recommendation. By collating information like website search queries, purchase behavior, and more, it is possible to increase the sales. Their recommendation will also improve customer experience through media and marketing campaigns. Customers can get insights on product they purchase and find similar ones that will make the experience much better. Product recommendations can also help in understanding which areas can be improved in terms of composition, product performance, scope, function, and more. This will improve overall product features, also helping the central focus to get better. Apart from that, round the clock customer support is another very important feature for enhanced or better customer service. Most customers are digitally connected and look for support for which is 24 into 7 into 365. Customers like getting support even outside business hours. For these online businesses, it is not possible to hire human personnel to be available always. This is where AI comes into the picture. AI will help use these important channels of communication to help customers with their queries. Engaging in real-time interactions will answer questions for customers, and as per a particular report, they nearly 85% of customer communication take place without a human representations, and with predictive analytics and automated phone bot accuracy, it is possible for customers to get smart solutions. And thus AI helps identify how customers queries are and provide a quick resolutions to their queries. So this is the kind of changing in the customer experience which take place with the help of AI. Overall, if we see that how an AI can influence customer experience nowadays, we all know, we have seen Alexa and Siri and all that. So voice enabled customer services are very popular, like Amazon Echo and Alexa and Siri. Everyone are very happy with these kind of chatbots, and they are willing to interact more with these things. Apart from that, if we see that this AI also help us in providing the useful customer insights about their likes, dislikes, behavior, and the kind of products they are endorsing. All these in full useful insight with the help of different social media is also possible to extract from different AI platforms. Apart from that, if we see, AI is also helping us in streamlining the customer interaction which is going on different social medias, and provide them with the tailored customer solutions. Apart from that, data backed customers and marketing strategies can also be done. Without data, you cannot make a generalized strategy. So if a particular company is willing to spend huge amount of money, they also need to see what is the customer opinion about that particular strategy. Then comes automated assistance. Absolutely, somewhere, some days, if we see this COVID pandemic also, we have seen that it is very difficult to go and personally available for every customer. So, in case if we have an automated customer assistant like chatbot, that is also very important aspect for in COVID scenarios, or in case we have less resources available with a particular company. And it also improves the marketing flows. And we all know that nowadays this marketing has been transformed from a traditional mass marketing into a customized, personalized, and tailor-made marketing. So again, to increase that marketing flows and the concept, this AI is particularly very helpful. And as I already discussed, that it provides the personalized content. So if we see the OTT platform, over the top platform like Netflix, Amazon, and Woot, there are so many, Zulu, and there are so many platforms where you must have seen the personalized content. Apart from that, Amazon is the first very big famous case study for providing the personalized content, and you all must have already realized and see in on various different platforms that how personalized and tailor-made content is provided to you according to your likes and behavior and the purchasing pattern over the internet. So this is the basic, this whole idea is to make emphasis that how customer experience is nowadays a very important aspect and is being very much focused by AI. This is one important slide which is showing that how this digitalization transformation is being taken place. So the data is hidden and needed to be discovered, and AI provides the capacity to mine, because we are actually now sitting on the silos of data and getting up insight, and the pattern from that particular data is the most important and the crucial task for the marketers. And AI is one very useful tool to provide the kind of patterns and the insight which marketers are looking for providing a better experience. Here you can see the pre-purchase. So there are various touch points which are being highlighted over here is the web, mobile, campaigns, promotions, surveys. These are the various touch points by which you can get the main likes, dislikes, their behaviors before pre-purchase, and then what are the various touch points from where you can collect their data is the customer service, technical support, product usage, online help, logistics, account management, voice of customer, that is the feedback, billing and payment. So these are the various other touch points related to post purchase, from where again we can have a lot many data, and if you tackle it properly with the help of new tools which are available with us, for example AI, we can get a better insight so that we can provide a better customer experience to our already existing customer, as well as we can attract new customers. So what is the bottom line? So as I already said that AI offers easy and efficient solutions to customer service problems. An AI-powered customer service center will ensure that customers get service effectively and efficiently. So this is the main objective of AI, to provide the better and the improved services. Apart from that, AI solutions are a great way to remain competitive. So if companies want to see any competitive advantage, they can also harness these solutions. More companies are now looking to improve customer services to get the loyalty and trust. As I said, that customer satisfaction leads to customer loyalty and the retention. So at the end, marketers are nowadays looking for AI solutions which can actually help their customers to retain and become loyal. Another, apart from that, AI wants to gather many opportunities for customer by combining customer data, chalk out customer journey maps and reduce that particular wait times, make these customer interaction more simpler with the help of chatbots, and also encourage more customer engagement via social media and get an instant feedback and the real-time feedback and handle all these customer grievances. So this is the major focus of the AI in customer journey, and how why marketers are nowadays focusing on AI solutions. At the end, I am just ending my particular presentation with one quote by Mahatma Gandhi ji, that a customer is the most important visitor on our premises, whether it is online or it is offline, and he is not dependent on us. And nowadays it is very so true that because we are not only available offline, we are also online, and plethora of information and the websites are there, and at the click, at the moment of click and the blink of eye, they can leave us. So we are already dependent on them. So he should is not an interruption in our work. He is the purpose of it. He's not an outsider in business. He's part of it. We are not doing any favor by serving them, and he is doing us a favor by giving us an opportunity to do so. So if a customer is giving us an opportunity, why not to grab it? Why not make that experience memorable? With this, I, Dr. Loveleen Gaur, and closing and completing this presentation. Thank you so much everyone for patient listening, and if anyone wants to connect to me, I have already provided my email ID and I am available on LinkedIn too. Thank you so much everyone.
Hi everyone. First of all, thank you all for spending your time with me in this presentation that it's called Testing and Experimentation Crafting Digital Experiences. My name is Ricardo Tallar. I'm from Spain, and please let me introduce myself. Well, as you can see here, I'm just posing, just since that I'm writing something in that paper, but that's not true. It's just a pose. But I'm the founder and the CEO of a Spanish company called Flat 101, where there are right now around 160 people working in CRO projects. So our main focus is conversion rate optimization. So we are working all day trying to improve business results in all digital assets that we are working for our clients. And I'm so proud to say that 99% of the times we achieve our goals. But I'm here representing the work of a lot of people, like the ones I told you before, this 160 people team that I'm so proud of. We started being only 5, so this is just a good proof that everybody can grow. Well, I'm here to talk about I think one of the main problems that we have in A/B testing and experimentation. There is that we are most of the times companies are testing and making personalizations for everyone, for 100% of the people that is just visiting your website or visiting your application. So everything is done for 100% of the people. And of course, you do your stuff and you do a good work because you analyze, you make your hypothesis, you start wondering why people is doing some kind of things. You use all kind of analytics you have, and of course, you better do a very good design with UX heuristics and all this kind of stuff. But always you try to test and make personalizations for all your users. This is a very common pitfall, so you can find it so easily. But one first question I have is that are all of your users, the same kind of people? Do they have the same drivers when they are reading your website or when they are using your applications? They are not equal. They are not the same person all the time. So the key for crafting real digital experiences that are going to work in conversion rate is using what mostly of the tools and mostly of the things we can read about it called audiences. An audience is just a group of people that shares some item, so gender, age, country they come from, and of course lots of features that allow us to group them into one single audience. So if we use if we use audiences and we use it well, we can group people and we can really design good digital experiences for each one of these audiences or groups. So first of all, you have to start thinking in your users like audiences. So let's think about it. Just let's guess that we are the owners of a fashion retail e-commerce. And of course, I have users in my e-commerce that comes from email. So this is a very good stuff, because if you think of it, users that come from emails are users that already know me. Yeah, they already know me. They already know me because they have signed up before in my newsletter, or maybe they have bought some item before, maybe months ago, maybe 1 year ago, maybe 1 week ago, but I have them in my system. I have it in my database, so they already know me. A user that is logged in my system, of course, is a client. So am I going to say to a client the same things that I will say to anyone that is not a client? Probably not. But we are always treating our digital products like if we are speaking to everyone. User coming from a social media ad like Instagram, probably this is a kind of user that really don't know you before he or she see this advertisement. A user that come from different countries, a user from Spain like me is not like a user from Germany. Of course, we both live in Europe, we love each other, and I love German people love Spain, but we are not the same kind of people. We are so different sometimes. People that is using a smartphone probably has not the same screen size, is not in the same context to read or to pay attention for some of the things that you have in your interface. User that was here some days ago, of course, has been here some days ago, so probably he or she already knew something from us. And of course, users that comes from a specific campaign probably are visiting you because they want to find the same thing that you are using as a bait in your advertising. So if we think of it, we can see that there are a lot of different people that it's coming to our digital assets, but we are always treating them like if they were the same. So if we think in this kind of people like audiences in all the paths, in all the kind of situations, the main ones, in all the kind of situations that we can have in our website or in our application, then we can decide and we can design for each audience what kind of things we want to show them, the tone of voice, what kind of text are we going to use, am I approaching like if you were a friend, or am I approaching in a serious way, what kind of copies are we going to use, what kind of images. So it's the same URL, but it's not the same content, and it's not the same things I'm going to tell you depending on where are you coming from. So let's do it. Let's see how it works with a simple exercise that I'm going to make with Google Optimize. Go for it. Well, as you can see here, this is a Chrome browser that I open right now, and as you can see, this is an e-commerce. This is a product page from an e-commerce. This is a fake e-commerce, so this is not a real one because this is one of the e-commerce I use for testing tools, all this kind of stuff. So this is, but it works like a real e-commerce because it is. So as you can see here, we have a product page, and it's just this framed posters about the best is yet to come. Okay, and I have here a Google Optimize account. So this Google Optimize account is working for this website. So what I'm going to do is think the way I told you before, in the people that is coming from an ad that has a specific UTM, that has a UTM that I will call Social Christmas. So I'm designing a specific text and a specific landing page only for the people that is coming from this Social Christmas ad. So the only guys that are going to see this content will be the ones that comes from that advertisement, but not the ones that come from SEO or other kind of stuff. So let's see how it works. So I'm going to create experience, and I'm going to say this is the digital experience American Digital Week. So this is the URL, or I'm going to make my experimentation. And this is going to be a personalization. So everyone, what I want to do is that everyone that comes from a medium or source that I'm going to decide, that audience is the only one that is going to see this content. The rest will see the one that is by default. So I create it. And now what I'm going to do is just to make us say changes. Google Optimize is a client-side tool that if you install a Google Chrome add-on, you can edit, as you can see here in my screen, you can edit any kind of page that you have in your website. So this is the one I'm going to edit. I'm going to do just a very, very simple thing, just the edit element. I'm going to edit HTML. Just copy this. And I'm going to write other text. Okay, I'm going to write here, Christmas is coming, buy yours now, best gift. Yes, this is a very simple change. Just apply. Here you have it. I'm going to change color. So I'm going to make it this kind of green. So I save it and I finish. And here is the tricky thing about audiences. Of course, this is the side changes that are going to see right now everybody, because I haven't set any kind of audience. But as you can see here, you have a part that's called audience targeting. So what I can do here with all this stuff is to be so specific about who is going to see these kind of changes I made. And of course, this is a very simple changes, but we can do it much more complicated if I want. So I'm going to use UTM. And as you can see, UTM campaign equals, and I'm going to write here social Christmas. Just guessing that we are doing a social Christmas in some social networks, just some ads only for Christmas season that is coming soon. So I add this one, and right now I can start. So what I'm doing right now is making that all people, only the people that has watched an ad, what you click on it has a UTM campaign social Christmas, only that people is the one that is going to see this kind of stuff in the URL. Same URL, different people that is not clicking in this UTM campaign is going to see the regular URL, the by default URL that we have. So this is just a very easy sample just to show you the powerful this kind of crafting digital experience could be. Let's see how now things are seen. As you can see, this is the by default URL. So here in this URL, there is no UTM with social Christmas because people that is coming here is not clicking in that. So they are seeing the regular. Okay, but let's see what the other people is seeing. As you can see here, this is another browser. This is a Safari browser, and I have used the UTM campaign social Christmas. Just because I'm one of the guys that has clicked on this UTM, I'm one of the guys that is watching, seeing this content. But it's only for me, not for the rest. So this is a very powerful tool because really allow us to craft digital experiences for each kind of audience that we have. So please, no more coffee for all. No more coffee for all, because we have now a lot of tools that we can really make experiences for different people. Just to show you how it works in a real project, here you can see the regular one on the left. This is a bank. And this is the landing for opening an account. And the right one is just a personalization only for people that it's coming from some social media advertisements, especially focused on young people, as you can see. And here you can see the different in conversion. We are talking of an improvement around 62% and 206%, only because I have focused on making a specific content only for these people, only for these young people. And it works. As you can see here, it works. We are talking of in this case, this is all retail with the same techniques. As you can see, almost 100% of improvement in incoming and are more than 140% conversion rate optimization. So please start crafting digital experience, because we are not talking about tools. We are talking about understanding who is coming to my website or my application and just working on specific messages, specific images, paths, and stuff only has been thought for the people that is coming. So thank you for your attention. Hope you can find this something interesting for you and a little bit fun. And please let me know your thoughts or ask me wherever you want. Here you can find my contact details. You can write me or contact me by LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, or email. It will be a great process for you. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good life, a good week, and a good day. Bye.
Hi, welcome to my presentation, 3 steps to increase your conversion rate. So before we start, I'm just going to present myself. So who am I? I'm a digital marketing specialist for the last 10 years. I've been specialized in paid media, conversion rate optimization, and data analysis. I work for major corporations. I also work for small to medium businesses. And I'm also a freelancer part-time to help small to medium businesses with their digital marketing. So why talking about conversion rate optimization? Well, acquisition have gotten much harder through the years. I've been managing Google ads and Facebook ads for a while now, and I've noticed that cost per clicks actually went up. Performance to track the performance has gotten also much harder with the iOS updates. But something that we do have power over is really optimizing our websites for more conversion. Another thing I've noticed is that we do spend a lot of money on paid ads. About 30% of the marketing budget is actually spent on paid ads, but we don't do a lot about conversion rate optimization on our website. And the website is really one of the key factor of success for a paid ads. Without a good landing page experience, you can throw a lot of money and it's not going to work. So the average conversion rate of a website today is about 2%, and a lot of websites is actually way under that. And why is that? It's because of the user experience on the website is usually really poor. There's very key elements that are very easy to tweak in order to improve the user experience. There's the website speed. People don't have a lot of patience these days, so the website needs to load pretty quickly on mobile, on tablet, on a website. Also, the search capability is a huge one. It's really used a lot on websites, and again, people don't have patience. If they're looking for something, a word that's a synonym, or they made a mistake in the word, you need to be able to show them what they're looking for. And even if they're looking for a competitor, you have to find a way to maybe personalize that experience and show them what you offer that maybe your competitor doesn't offer. So there's a lot of ways that you can actually optimize the search capabilities. Another one is the lack of reviews and testimonials. In the world where Amazon dominate the e-com and they do have a lot of reviews, you really need to do campaigns to go find people that will review your products. And that's not going to happen just by just having a place where people can review. You really need to incentivize people to do it. Product page that's incomplete. That's another one that I see a lot. So the product page is really important, and you have to not just show a picture, but show videos on how people can actually use that product and key feature of that product. There's so many ways and so many things you can add to that page. Another one is the shopping cart abandonment, and it's very high, and it could be due to so many things: complicated checkout process, cost delivery is too high, and so much more. So where do we start? We can start with 3 steps. So the first step is really to know your analytics. So knowing your analytics will enable you to better understand people who are coming to your website, so your user. And then step number 2, you take that and you segment them in order to personalize the experience in the website and personalize the message. And that will really help you increase your conversion rate. So step number 1 I want to talk about three very valuable tools for analytics. So, of course, the number one is Google Analytics. And now we have also G4 that goes even further in the analytics world. So, there's a lot of elements that you can go get from Google Analytics. You can go get the most valuable landing page, the site search report. So, for example, what I talked about, the search capability, what are people looking for on your website? Can you show them a personalized page based on what they're searching for? Can you improve the landing page experience? And what's the average order value? Because if you do some steps to with cross-selling to improve that average order value, you want to see it going up. So you need to track it. Another great tool is Hotjar. And it's very valuable because it shows you where people are actually clicking on your website. So if you have something that you really want user to see, but it's really at the bottom of the page and you notice people are not clicking or not getting there, well, maybe it's time to put it up. Then you can also see the user behavior on the website. So really what they're doing on the website. And this, of course, takes a lot of time. You have to see each videos and see maybe where people are exiting and why. Are they confused about something? Very interesting. And the third one I would say is survey. So really asking directly your clients and your users why they exit the website. You can send them survey by email. Ask them exactly what they're looking for. It could bring you really valuable information too. So I want to just talk about two reports on Google Analytics that can help you. One of them is called converter versus non-converters. So you go and you segment on Google Analytics, you converter and non-converter, and you see what's the difference. What does a converter do that a non-converter doesn't? And what's their profile? What's the profile of a converter? What device they use? How many times they come back to the website? So all this can really help you. The other one is a funnel analysis, and it's new with GA4, and it's very, very interesting because it will tell you where people actually drop out in the funnel. So is it when they view the product page? Is it when they add it to the cart? Is it at the checkout? So this can also help you tailor where in that cycle you can improve key elements that could actually improve your conversion. So all of this, then you have to ask yourself this question: does your website help people in every step of their journey? From the homepage to the customer service, are you answering key questions that a user can think of? For example, if in the consideration stage, are you telling them what specific problem are you solving, and do you know what's their biggest pain point? So that's just an example. And step number 2 is to segment. So what is a segmentation? So it's a mass of people who can be identified and targeted with reasonable effort, cost, and time. And how do you segment? Actually, you can segment based on their preferences, on behavior, on gender, and so much more. So here is a way to do segment creation. So it could be really by what they've seen on the website. So that's really by behaviors, or it could be by preferences. You actually ask them what type of gear they would like to hear more about. So that will let you know what kind of things they're looking to receive from you and what's their interest. Step number 3, and that's the fun part, is the personalization. So once we did the segment, we really want to personalize their experience on our website, on our email marketing, and on the SMS marketing. So for the website personalization, which is so interesting, and there's a lot of different companies that do that. Here I took an example of a company called Nosto, sorry. And what they did with a UK online retailer called Function 18 is they actually went and gathered information about the user transactional event, his online browsing behavior, in order to personalize the homepage for each type of of user. So for example, if you're someone who shows more of an interest of a Nike shoes, well, actually the homepage content will be a Nike banner. And if it's more Adidas, then the banner that you will see is an Adidas banner. And I'm going to move this up. And that brought an 18% increase in the order value, which is huge. And that really is the power of personalization. And then we're just going to go to the next slide. So for email marketing, you can also do a lot of personalization based on segment. So you can use it by behavior. So for example, you can send emails kind of abandoned browse. So what is an abandoned browse? So it's a message that triggers when a visitor lands on any page or product category on your website. So for example, they come to your website, they've seen something they like, but they didn't actually add it to the cart. And then you send them an email reminding them that they actually seen this product. Those are type of emails that actually have a really good performance, and they have a very high open rate actually. What kind of things you can add in that email that can actually improve your conversion is you can add content that help their shopping of that product. You can also show them products that are very similar because you want them to come back to the website. Maybe that wasn't the exact product they were looking for. Maybe they want more information. So that's one of the email you can send. Another type of personalization is abandonment cards. So this is something we see a lot. So it's ready to send to shopper who place an item in their shopping cart, but they leave without completing a purchase. So you send them in this reminder. And this isn't really high performing also email. It has a very high open rate. What can you add on top of just telling them, hey, you added this product on your cart, but you didn't check out? You can add an offer. You can add reviews to let them know, hey, this product is very loved by a lot of people. So to incentivize them again to come back to your website and actually purchase the product. Now we can do that also with SMS marketing, which is not used a lot. Here I took an example of a company called Attentive. And this can really improve your conversion rate and drive incremental sales because it's personalized text, and the difference between an email, a text is read 98% of the time. You see it right away. And the type of message you can send is exactly like an email. So you can send welcome series, cart, browse abandonment, post purchase, when the product is back in stock. And the type of segment, it could be new subscriber, it could be prospect, it could be repeat buyers. There's so many ways you can segment. Same thing as an email. So here are some examples that you can see. So we can see a segment for category specific browsing behaviors. So for example, you see that this user actually, he look for sneakers on the website. So you send them a personalized message saying our spring event is on and the perfect weekend sneakers are now 65%, $65. Take an extra 30% off more. So that's just one example. You can also do it more interactive like we see in the right. So you can ask them question, what's their favorite brand of sneakers. So if they say Adidas or they say Nike, well, you know what to send them next. So all this is example of personalization, and personalization is really key to improving your conversion rate on your website because it improves the user experience. So I'm just going to end by saying it's much easier to double your business by doubling your conversion rate than by doubling your traffic. So I want to thank you very much. And if you have any question, let me know. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Hope you're having a great new year, and welcome. to the Digital Week. So we would like to talk about how Gupshup is helping transform business to consumer interactions and making them personal and one-on-one. So that's the topic that we wanted to cover today. And the underlying theme that we want to emphasize is the way businesses communicate with customers is completely changing. It's changed for few reasons. One is, especially in emerging markets, access to a lot of the technologies, a lot of innovations like mobile wallets and different methods of mobile payments, and also availability of cheaper bandwidth, and the pandemic, where people are compelled to do things remotely and get everything done. And when they are remote, the most common device that they have with them is the mobile. And so mobile engagement is becoming a big theme, and where businesses need to communicate with the customers 24/7 all the time. So it's just not working hours or any time when people want to communicate with their businesses and engage them. So that's kind of changing the way businesses need to think customer engagement, customer communication, and use new tools such as conversational engagement solutions. The data we've got from from market research and various other providers is that customers, the big shift is that before, in addition to just having regular customer communications, they want their communication with their businesses to be interactive, much more personalized, and they want answers right away because they're it's more instantaneous. So responsiveness is becoming important, and as you can see, over 64% expected to be interactive, 57% responsive, 91% personalized. So that's why we call ourselves as, how do we solve the problem of one-on-one with everyone? How do you make every customer feel that they're personal, but do it in scale, en masse, by talking to various all your customers and across the life cycle of the customer journey? So the people have tried different things, right? Obviously, there's an era of websites where people, this was in the 1990s, where websites were very popular. But now, as the screens are becoming smaller, everybody's on mobile, and there are a lot of experiences, web experiences, not very optimal. And then we went into the era of mobile apps. That's kind of in the 2010 timeframe onwards. You have apps like some apps became super apps like Uber and WeChat. But there's only so many apps you can have on your phone, because you already got the dozen or 24 apps that you usually use, but you can't have 10 banking apps and 10 transportation apps and 10 travel apps. So you just have, everything cannot be done with apps. And now the choices are a lot more. So what's happening is you have to figure out how you can use, what are the apps that are already there that people use the most? What is the number one thing that you use on your mobile phone day in and day out? Text messaging, or on the popular messaging apps you interact. In some countries, it's WeChat. In some regions, like in China and others, it's Line or a few other apps in Southeast Asia. In India and LATAM and most parts of the world, it's WhatsApp. Other parts of the world, it's Facebook Messenger, Instagram. So these are the popular messaging apps that people do everything on. They message. They also, nowadays they started, getting product information and also doing things like payments because of the change in technology. So messaging app is where the customers are today, right? Be it WhatsApp or Instagram or any of the other apps. And also text messaging. There are a lot of things that you want to go on the mobile web and do that thing, but it's all in messaging apps, and messaging is where the interactions are happening with the brands. And WhatsApp itself, they have about the couple of 100 million people, though they have 2 billion people active worldwide, but on their business, they communicate. 200 million people communicate with businesses on WhatsApp. And Instagram is a very strong brand connect. A lot of D2C brands, the people on Instagram, they have followers that have a very strong brand connect with that brand on Instagram. And then these apps are becoming where most of the consumers, over 85% of the consumers, agree that interacting with the business apps helps them, interact and build personal relationships. So that's one of the reasons why we passionately believe that the next frontier in cloud communications, because cloud technology, as you know, cloud software is becoming it's one of the high growth industries. But in cloud, in the cloud messaging, in the cloud software as a service, cloud messaging and conversational engagement is going to be the future growth area, where every business needs to engage with their consumers, and they need to do it one-on-one. So one-on-one with everyone is going to be a problem that everyone needs to solve, and conversational engagement platforms like Gupshup are the ones that will help you do this very efficiently. Today, we are well known in mobile markets, in mobile first emerging markets. We are in those markets with the #1 conversational engagement platform with about 39,000 plus customers and about 7 billion plus messages that we send. We have a lot of the leading BFSI, fintech and financial services, online businesses, retail, consumer, entertainment, media, hospitality, and then even educational and government. So across the various sectors we have. And the other thing is in emerging markets like India and Asia and South Asia, we have over 80% of the unicorns that have used us. The reason is because digitally native people got it very early on. Even when in 2018, even before the pandemic, they were the first to adopt, and their whole business models was built on conversational engagement, be it disrupting fintech by giving access to capital to consumers, small businesses, merchants, or being enabling people to get services like food delivered, or transportation, and also commerce, online commerce. And online commerce is not limited to just the usual goods; it's limited to medical goods. Also engaging, different kinds of brands. It's just not branded goods, unbranded goods, just not tier 1 cities, but also the tier 2 and 3 cities. Buying cars, getting educated, making payments, gaming, entertainment, video, and so on and so forth. So they adopted this. They realized the power of being on mobile and being a mobile first company. They adopted it first, and hence they grew with us. And all these companies started with us, a few years ago when there were just 3-4 people in a room, but now they've grown out to be big unicorns. And hence we have 80% of the unicorns, and there's also a term called Sunicons, and we have about 75% of the Sunicorn market share too. So when they all become unicorns, they will be with us and grow with us. And the reason for that is, what we did is we just didn't do conversational journeys or conversational engagement just for post-purchase flows. That's how it started in some of the, especially emerging markets and developed markets, where it was mainly used for support, where they just wanted to see, hey, is my order received? Is the thing that I've ordered, can I track it? Where is it? Once I've ordered, my flight is delayed, or my transaction has happened, my banking transactions happened. That's where it all started. And it kind of started reducing the costs, customer support costs, and it started the post-purchase journey customer support area. But what changed in the last year is it became full funnel, where the tools, even like WhatsApp and others and Instagram, they started doing a lot more on the pre-purchase side, with addition to giving new deals and offers that lead to conversions, acquiring new customers and leads, enabling more product information. Those are some of the pre-purchase journeys on new channels like Instagram and WhatsApp. And WhatsApp also opened up their funnel and became a full funnel conversational flow, where it moved from post-purchase and support to marketing and commerce. And we also tied up with a lot of payment providers to enable easy one-click payment solutions, catalog browsing and purchases, and also onboarding. A lot of these online services want to do eKYC, be it digital banking or fintech, or even people like Ola and Swiggy and Uber. So they kind of do the onboarding and registration of the people through authentication, KYC, and registering users. So all that kind of completely changed and opened up the funnel to move from post-purchase and customer support to pre-purchase and marketing and purchase and commerce. So that kind of became much more full funnel. And the automation, all this requires automation of some of the interactions, right? Everything cannot be automated. Some of it can be automated. Some of it has to be handed over to an agent. So we have bot to agent handover. We have comprehensive dashboards. We have a unified dashboard for multiple channels. And we have a single API that supports 30 plus channels. So that's why we are able to make these conversational messaging solutions much more easy for marketing, conversational commerce, and conversational support. and drive various use cases. We'll go through some of the use cases that in these areas, but the main thing that to understand is how do we do this? So the way we do this is we have a solution that has not only the cloud communications platform that can talk to the 30 plus channels using a single API, but we also have the conversational automation layer that can do journeys across marketing, across conversational marketing, conversational commerce, and conversational support. So that's kind of, we kind of do the, we call it the CX, or the conversational automation layer, followed by conversational engagement solutions that are not only horizontal across marketing, commerce, and support, but also across various verticals, be it fintech or BFSI, online commerce, retail, edtech, and so on and so forth. So we have vertical solutions and industry-ready bot solutions that can be deployed in these things. A good example of a marketing use case here is, where what happens is in this case, they're coming online, they're registering with them, and they're also doing a quick KYC to understand more about the customer. And then they start shopping, and then they say, hey, what do you like to do? They've been given a bunch of options. And they also are kind of giving up where the location they are, so people could know, how to serve this customer. This example is again catalog shopping, where you're using abandoned cart alerts and doing some payments, shopping cart and payments. We enable that. So this is again the same example. And this is another example where we kind of are doing end-to-end commerce for a brand. This is a brand in Australia where they come up and they look at the catalog of all the products that they offer. It's more product discovery, product information. And then they say, okay, now I'd like to add this to the cart and actually buy it and see how to use it. So it's an end-to-end kind of commerce journey. The other example that people use cases that people use is in support is you have the initial response given by a bot, right? Hey, this is a quick answer to your question. And they give you a dynamic help menu with buttons and list messages where you can say, okay, these are the areas that I need help with, and do some simple navigation with choice, in this case, by clicking with the easy buttons that actually fold a lot of these tasks into a simple one-click button. And then if they cannot be answered, we have a bot to agent handover that gives you to a live agent who can handle the more complex queries. So this is how we kind of help across marketing, support, and commerce plays for various verticals. Additionally, what we did is we've also acquired RCS technology that is helping us drive RCS adoption, not only across Africa, but also in India. We are one of the biggest RCS players in Asia. We do about 1 billion RCS messages with various brands in India and rest of Asia. But we're also working with some operators in Africa, in Nigeria, especially to drive universal RCS with MTN and Airtel and Nine Systems are some of the operators that we're working with there. And we are kind of creating a global, RCS, enabling various operators and business providers to messaging providers to do RCS delivery, message delivery across the world. So what this does is that with this suite of technologies, with this most comprehensive conversational engagement solution product suite that you have, what you can do, what Gupshup has enabled various customers to do is every customer touch point across the customer journey, be it pre-purchase for product discovery or acquiring new leads or offers, or doing some conversions, or creating offers to lead to conversions, or through catalog browsing and purchases, and also understanding digital banking or easy one-click payments, all the way up to support, various areas of support. You can transform those conversational experiences that they have. Every touch point can be transformed into a very pleasant, interactive, personalized, targeted conversational experiences on the most popular messaging apps that these consumers use. And they also are creating new digital storefronts, because WhatsApp came up with a multi-product catalog. Instagram also has a carousel where you can offer all these, where people can browse, click on these products that they're interested in, get personalized information. And even in Instagram, we have use cases where people want to get an example of a brand that's using it. They want to get a particular shade. They give all their questions, and they said you don't have to look through 40 shades of foundation. You just say, hey, these are the 2 ones that are most useful to you, and then it makes it much more targeted and personalized, and then they can easily go ahead and make the purchase, or at least they'll come back and they get the reminder from an abandoned cart, they can go and do the purchase. So all the goal is to go where your customers are, make things personalized, interactive, and engaging, and timely and contextual. And that can be done only by using conversational engagement platforms and solutions and product suites like the ones we offer. So you have to go where your customers are and build chatbots and messaging apps. And Gupshup is very well positioned to do that. We are well capitalized. In 2021 alone, we raised about 340 million to accelerate our conversational engagement vision. Also, not only do we have the leadership position and the talent, but we're going to do more by filling up more, adding more technologies to continue our leadership and dominant position in conversational engagement solutions by adding the relevant technologies in various geographies and the right set of people to continue delivering you the cutting edge solutions that you need for conversational engagement. And an example, a case in point is we recently acquired Nolarity, which is a leader in AI-powered voice solutions, and that continues to strengthen our conversation engagement portfolio, and we'll continue to do more. So hope this session was very useful, and we are very excited about this new space, which will completely change the way you engage your consumers and be able to have personalized conversations one-on-one and do it in scale with everyone, and hope we helped educate you in this emerging space and tell you a little bit about how Gupshup can help you achieve this journey and improve your ROI and customer engagement and retention rate, and also grow your business. Thank you. Hope you have a great conference.